the first of our two North American Goliaths. Give it up for 100 Thieves! Who will walk away as our Red Bull Homeground 2022 champions? 100 Thieves on Cloud9. Let's get it on!
I'm really hoping that we're seeing the Reina walk on with Cloud9 means we're gonna get a yay IGL Reina today. I'm all for it.
Oh, Mary should answer about that. How does it feel to have your IGL, playing on the Duelist, going on the Reina, going on the Euro, and all these things? How does it feel, from the receiving it in the sense that you're in the team and your IGL goes in first?
It's like an insane thing. Like the fact that she can IGL and entry and get insane entries with two, it's just surreal,
I think the fact that she can make those picks look not troll when it was like pre-buff stuff, when she was using it as well, is very, very impressive. But yay, maybe she's going to go down the route with Juliana today, who knows? But I do think it will be somewhat map dependent. So let's talk about that. It's going to be a best of 5. Both teams are only just getting one ban. And throughout this tournament, those bans have been pretty predictable.
Yeah, and especially we were talking about 100 Thieves map pool. I think that the only one that they have lost so far in this competition has been Ascent. So, if they didn't manage to figure it out for groups, it's not going to be ready for Cloud9.
Yeah, that's very much what I'm expecting. It's C9 just vetoed Breeze this whole event, so this isn't a shock at all. 100 Thieves, this could be anything, but I'm pretty sure it's Ascent. Yeah, this makes a lot of sense. Again, they have been struggling on this one. And then this is just going to be just what we see in terms of orders. So we're going to get all the maps and then... But I think this is smart from 100 Thieves. I think this makes a lot of sense. C9 picking Bind. Okay, with how the bind went earlier, everyone, it looked very comfortable. Very, very comfortable. I think this makes a lot of sense. I don't actually think they need to change too much. In terms of 100 Thieves being able to watch that game, I'm not sure you could have got too much from that game, to be honest. It was a complete stomp.
Yeah, and Fracture as well, a great pick for 100 Thieves as well. They've been super confident here and have had every reason to be as well, Mary. This is looking pretty even for both teams so far.
For sure, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so...
100% Icebox, that's good.
I've heard, I talked to Cupid a bit, the sick for C9. I've heard that they've got something like a little bit spicy. He said not too spicy, but just like he said like a little bit.
Reina.
I mean,
that's Reina.
No, I think that might be too spicy.
I think this is the thing about Ye though, because back
It's
on
like I'm talking miles.
yeah.
Okay, so
I feel like this is the thing about Ye, because back on Optic, one of the reasons that Optic really struggled on Icebox is because Ye never quite got it the way that players like Cryo and Durka got this map. So I wonder if this is where they do go, and it's very surprising to me to see a team with Ye on it to kind of go there, like you said, have it so prepped. But I'm very much looking forward to it. But we have Haven and Pearl to finish it up as well.
Yeah, I think overall I think we might be going to 5th map here. The big question mark for me for sure is Icebox. I'm not sure how it's going to look. I've always felt that Ye on Chamber hasn't looked too bad. I remember multiple games where I'm watching when he was back in Optic, just him on 20 kills and the other maybe just add up to the same amount as him.
The comps that we used to play on that map was ridiculous.
True, yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what they go for. But yeah, Bind first. I'm not expecting anything crazy here. The mana and screen right now though, Zeppa, just insane tournament like we're saying, util on this map, on the sky, every single time, especially on defense, the dog is just it's at the perfect point. Every single time there's a bit of pressure applied, he does the dogger, he does the flashback, and then he can make sure that there's rotate, it's really good, and so on the defense side, they can have 3 people in the right side.
Yeah, and when it comes to Best of 5, Mary, you played one very, very recently, you know, it was a bit of a grueling one for you as well. How do you think they should be pacing themselves here as we head into Asian Select?
I don't know, I feel like C9 is way more confident, especially because they just recently played Bind. And I would say, I mean, also at the same time, 100Thieves kind of has a heads up. They're expecting things from C9 for sure, because they just played recently. So it's going to be a head-to-head game for sure.
I just want to go back to seeing Leaf on that Viper. I think that he's been doing a great job. As we see, no surprises on this side. We kind of expected, you know, this head-to-head is that, you know, it has some resemblance with the crew that we saw earlier. If it's the same ride, C9 is going to be on top.
Sorry, did any of you see if 100Thieves are starting on attack or defense at all? Yeah. There's a big thing when I used to be in a team, when you kind of haven't been on the stage for a while, a lot of the times I like to start on attack. Just so
yeah, they are 100Thieves
starting on attack. Okay, so I think this makes a lot of sense. So when you're on the defense side, there's so much pressure for you to hit your shots and get those kills, and normally there's not someone there to trade you. So when you're on attack, there's more people behind you, so if you are not warmed up, you are missing a few shots, you have multiple people behind you. So I think starting on attack is very smart here.
It's more about the creativity, it's more about having the upper hand, making the first decision and kind of making the other team react. So I agree with that. It's definitely, you know, very smart for 100Thieves to just go for that pick.
I mean, Mary, you've been very much advocating that C9 have you know, they're going to win this grand final. Why do you think that? And is there something on Bind that you feel like they're going to be able to do better than 100Thieves?
I mean, the way they were playing, it just seemed like they were so confident, you know, and the energy also in the team. I mean, it was great. So I would say that if they keep the same momentum and energy, C9 will win this for sure. Because on LAN, it's all about, you know, spreading good vibes and good energy.
The vibes, yeah.
The vibes, exactly. Yeah.
Obviously, we want to see the pistol. We want to see if 100Thieves is going to go on the same streak, because the last time that they played this was against Footballists, and right off the bat, it started on the attack. They got 9 rounds in a row. So let's see how they do now.
Well, this is it. It's time to jump into Bind, map 1 in this grand final with your casters, Mitchman and Tombiz.
Well, Tom, it looks like we get to say a final farewell to Bind. Don't know for how long it's going to be, but what a way to kick this off as well. These two teams have had a phenomenal tournament run right now, and anything short of 5 maps and we've been robbed.
Well, this is also just that NA versus NA rivalry. Like, we've seen teams battle it out. Ye gets to look up against that Cry on the other side once again. It has so many storylines getting into this initial matchup, and this is almost the first crown. We go into next year where they're going to have to battle each other week in, week out. This will be the first one to get the dub.
This first map, first couple of rounds will set the tone for the series. I mean, Cloud9 coming in hot after their previous game. It was a quick one as well. It's not like fatigue will be setting in just yet. They've had their break to prep, but 100Thieves have been sat on the sidelines observing, watching everything that Cloud9 have been doing and figuring out how they're going to take the win here today. Without further ado, it's time to kick off map number 1. Manchester, make some noise!
Already, we're getting that quick start in. In fact, it looks like a full push going through from Asuna. The rest of the team playing that a little bit more patiently in the defense, looking like they have a set play of their own, ready to get in towards that mid position. It's going to be a brawl early, but it goes even.
Keeping it neck and neck to start with. Okay, 100 Thieves though. They've thinned out that defense and they've got a reaction, a bit of space out of Asuna. Doesn't expect another player to be this close already. Having already pulled those rotations towards the B site with the early play, they're getting that plant down now with the man advantage.
Spike planted.
Yeah, there's a lurk again. They've left a second player behind. We saw this from Cryo throughout the previous matches, just setting up those late plays to get into position, and the rest of the team, all they really need to do is burn down that clock. For Cloud9, they need to start taking that space back. They don't even know there's another man in the backlines, but Zeppa's already opened up onto one.
I think he might have spotted they weren't defusing at that moment, so a little bit of info to play with, but now the pressure's on. They've got to move forward and right into Zeppa. He almost got away with it. It could have been the ace, and it was the pressure for them to move so quickly after they tapped that spike. No one got eyes on it. It leads to them flooding into the site and just about grabbing the round.
That's the thing, Zeppa's been having a fantastic tournament thus far. He's been topping most of the stats. The fact he comes away with 4 kills in this round and still doesn't manage to win, it might show that, well, they're at least going to have an ult online fairly soon, but other than that, it's still that pistol going the way of 100 Thieves. And that's the thing. They have been fantastic in these pistol rounds. I think there was one of the stats was like 17-3 or something absurd in how good they've been in these early rounds, but teams have managed to at least try and fight a lot of them back.
You have to be realistic here. 1 or 2 extra seconds on that rotation from Cryo, a slight hesitation, and that round could have slipped out of their hands. But the early foundation built now. 100 Thieves look to move forward on these building blocks, and they've got to be cautious. You know, in these kind of rounds, obviously the headhunter from Ye is going to be a massive concern, but there's still going to be a couple of upgrades you potentially have to worry about. They're on their way in, burning up a lot of utility to keep these angles limited.
Well, they've got rid of that headhunter. That's at least something. And this is looking very, very clean from 100 Thieves. Again, their anti-ecos were pretty good yesterday, basically making things difficult for their opponents. But it's what they can do in this third round. Like, if this one comes back for C9 nice and clean, they can get those rifles on the board. That's kind of where you expect them to shine. But even still, though, this bonus is going to be one where you can afford a few casualties, at least for the 100 Thieves side. If you could lose everyone if you take a couple of people with you, that's absolutely fine.
But I love that approach there. You run into a stacked up site, and just because of how they're using their utility, the wall that they repositioned a little bit deeper alongside a snakebite, it lets them have all that space. It stops those 5 players who are in position from actually fighting as a full unit. Great way to really dice them up like that and leave the defense in a worse spot. Of course, most of them did have the classics, so we're not really expecting much from C9. A very quick push out of 100 Thieves, making use of the weaker weapons. But Ye, RNG's a spray, and Vanity's in with another. This is looking pretty good for C9.
Yeah, Cryo at least makes it a little bit more interesting. The one rifle, but Ye just still lurking around the backlines, eventually dealt with. He has support, though. Zeppa turning this into a 1v3. Derek so good in these clutches, but with the Spectre, it shouldn't really be possible. Still, though, he takes it down to just a couple remaining, however, not quite able to hit it with the range. Not a bad round for 100 Thieves, but C9, they're on the board.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, this is a round we expected to see them take, but that last ditch of damage that came out of 100 Thieves, it set them up now to punish the economy of their opponents. This next round's going to have a lot of weight to it. And it's this, you know, Ye, he gets caught off by that double swing. The timing was just perfect, and Derek to still get another kill in that 1v3, it pushes it across the line to...
They're not doing fist bumps, yeah?
No.
They're a little bit more intricate than that, you know, a little bit more delicate.
Got to be careful. You know, we saw some wrist injuries on the stage the other day. Someone was a little overzealous with the fist bumps, so...
A twist and fist bump is dangerous.
It absolutely is. He gets fired up. C9, look, they've got those rifles, but just take a look at their economy. Because of those losses in the previous round, 3 players are down to their last credits. A loss here will leave them to an eco, and 100 Thieves can really steam into the lead here on their attacking side.
Have you seen Vanity's gun? Expect anything less? This is genuinely my nightmare, is playing up against Vanity with a judge in towards Hookah. This is something he's done for a ridiculous amount of time through different rosters, and he's so difficult to clear from this position. I can tell you now, 100 Thieves are predicting this. They know that this is happening. Can they deal with it?
Yeah, it's going to be in the back of your mind and look for the utility getting through. They have got some opportunities, especially with your Sky, but Sky being towards long. There's a chance that they decide to check this with a body, and that judge will clean them up if that's the case. With 40 seconds left, when it comes to making that push, 100 Thieves are going to have to decide where they're taking it, and look, avoiding Hookah almost completely. 4 players down through long, a flash out of the smoke. Dodged by Zeppa a little bit. He was able to get a few bullets off, and Celsius finishes the player. They've slowed them down somewhat, and still, Hookah is a concern for them. They've got to keep their eyes on it.
Yeah, the thing is on the other side, there hasn't really been that much of an over-rotation. They've left the A just in case they tried to go back through the TP. The charge from there, though, is not pretty. It doesn't manage to get the kill. The spam from Zelsis, he takes a lot worse on the other side. A little bit of decay, but he just tries to deny them. Only 8 seconds left for them to get this spike down, but nobody has been able to stop them just yet. And it will be the after plant.
And they had the opportunity for the retakes, but they wanted to try and stop that plant. The time was so low, but with all those players throwing themselves at the site and finding practically nothing, sure, they're low across the board, but Yay has 3 players to deal with, and it's too much for El Diablo. The round is found for 100 Thieves, and now C9 are going to be in a pretty tough spot to get a full buy-up.
Yeah, I think this is also a map where you're likely to see Asuna really thrive. Like, his raise throughout this tournament has just been sublime. Like, okay, he's not been bad on any other agent, but we saw it yesterday as well. He gets onto that raise. I think that was when they switched things up on Fracture, and he was just a different beast. Like, blast backing into angles, causing so many issues. I will say that did look a little bit awkward, though, at the beginning. Like, Zephyr, I feel like those are moments where, okay, I expect him to get that kill, because he has been so good in this tournament so far. And as you mentioned, weapons for this round kind of suck.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of weaknesses, as you can see now on the defense. You know, sometimes you'll see those stacks, but we saw that in the pistol, or in the second round rather, not the pistol. And 100 Thieves were able to deal with it well. Right here, it's a default out of that attacking side, and they're even going to use Seekers, checking for a stack perhaps, and seeing that there's only 1 player towards B. Good information for them, and they're on their way, but there's a kill for Yay, a potential weapon to be retrieved. And that's the kind of start you want. The Headhunter's pretty much the only weapon they've got to work with here.
Yeah, they do have an orbital strike. If they wanted to use it to try and deny this plant, they could, but might be a little bit of an over-investment. Tour de Force not quite online, but an extra kill for Yay could make all the difference at this point. However, very deep post plants. We mentioned this yesterday. 100 Thieves in their post plant scenarios are a nasty team to play against, and well, unfortunately, that gun is now on the deck.
Yeah, that's not a commonly held position. Your Brimstone able to find a kill, drop the ult, the snake bite's taking down Leaf, and this is just great pathing from them. Halfway defused indeed, but they've got the bodies to throw and make sure they don't manage the defuse. This is getting a little spooky with Yay still floating about, ult online, and half defused, but in the end, he's deciding to bail out of here and save. Didn't manage to find a rifle, though. That's his main problem. So he'll go down to the spike.
Just trying to steal something at the end. Maybe try and bait a couple of players in, but it's not going to be happening. Still a pretty decent amount of damage for C9 in that round. Taking a few players away, those ults being built up. I think they might have actually used the orbital strike there to counter, just to try and hold the players from rotating back in. I'll be curious to see if that was actually utilized. Somebody definitely did, but it didn't seem to be on the spike. So I actually wonder if that was more of a rotation position. Yeah, so.
It's outside spike, so it doesn't hit the actual site itself, but it forces these players to go forward a little bit into those smokes. And obviously we saw the snake bite then as well, same time. That's, well, you're trying to get out of the ult and you run into a snake bite, you're going down.
Well, either way, it's been a very good start for 100 Thieves. And C9 are actually going to take themselves a tactical timeout here. Of course, I believe going into this map was their choice, right? Yeah, so it's definitely not what you want to look for. Now, I will say again, 100 Thieves, they've been off to a flying start in pretty much every single series, every single map that they've played. So this is something to be expected if you're on the C9 side. I'm sure they came in prepped, and you know, the IGL vanity or Yay, we'll see. I'm still a little bit pessimistic as to whether or not it's going to be IGL. Can we get a look at Yay's face, see how much he's talking at this point?
See all the words flying out. Yeah, man, I love it in a way, because one of the things we say about Yay is, like, the previous team he was on, yes, he's a phenomenal player, but they also set him up so well. You can imagine putting him into other rosters where you wouldn't have that same synergy. What's the best way for Yay to get set up consistently? Well, it's for him to control his teammates. Yeah, he set himself up. Guys, now.
You're going to flash from me. I'm going to kill everyone. Like, oh, cool.
It's just, I'm going to do this. How can you help me? I love it. 4-1. 100 Thieves steaming into the lead, and this pause was at a perfect time. As we said, the previous round, we didn't really expect to see too much, but C9 here, they've got an ult to play with. Showstopper out from Asuna. Doesn't find anything, but it does force Celsius back. He's given up the site, playing a retake perhaps. A few spams through the smoke, but finding nothing, and it looks like we could have a plan for 100 Thieves. As we said, their post-plant game has been flawless, or very close too. We're now going to have to see a big resurgence from Cloud9 coming in. But yay with the tour de force. Keep an eye on that.
But also, Orbital Strike and a Showstopper. So much clearing potential here for the side of C9 to just get rid of some of those players. They've used the Tiger to clear the close spot, and already Leaf is going to open up onto one. There goes the Showstopper, but the counter flash actually pretty good, and they've used that Orbital Strike deep. Nobody can push through mid. Someone's going to have to go for a move, try and make the spam, and actually it's successful, buying a little bit more time for the rest of the team. Derek looking to try and swing back out, and they're winning every single fight, and the Molotov closes it out. A fantastic round from 100 Thieves, and those post plants again are just nasty.
Absolutely unbelievable. There was a small window where it looked possible. They had to catch that peek out of bathroom while the molly was still on its way up and over, and they most certainly did not. Stellar, again, being a pivotal player for this team. He only gets the one, and bang, follows up with a phenomenal close to the round. But if Stellar isn't in that position, if he doesn't put his life down for the team in that moment, make that split-second call, it goes the other way. But Cloud9 are now trailing by quite a bit. They came out of a pause, they've lost that round, and now they're right back to a pretty weak buy, but there's an op in the hands of Yay.
I don't think anyone else could do this. Like, this almost feels like a simple strat coming out from Na'Vi. Like, maybe it works. We'll see. He is one of the only players in the world I'd have any level of confidence in making this one work. He's playing very passively. I think the plan is, if they go A, he kills everyone. If they don't, he saves.
Not a bad plan. Look, getting that weapon into Ye's hands can be a game changer at times. And he had the money saved up from the previous round where he played the tour de force. Safety net on safety net for C9, but they need to catch one eventually. For 100 Thieves, it looks like they are going right into Ye's hands, playing into it. They don't know that just yet, and they haven't committed, right? They've used up a little bit of utility, the Trailblazer in particular. I mean, that's your main info finding tool, and it's gone in towards bathroom. Hasn't spotted out all too much to work with, and there's the information. It comes at the cost of Cryo's life. Leaf showing up for huge damage, and Ye's got another. This round was a risky investment, but this is why they took the risk. El Diablo's on the server taking heads, and another is found. Just a ridiculous round for C9 to win.
This is just the thing. This is why we looked at whoever was going to sign Yay and just basically went, yeah, that's a good sign. And it didn't matter who else they had on the squad. And realistically, that solo operator did quite a lot. I'm surprised with how much Leaf got done here, though. Just up close with the Stinger. It's a gun that's definitely rising in popularity, but they just managed to almost create distractions for this man to peek out again and again. And while C9 back on the board.
Well, that's it. They were a little less focused on that close corner because you know most of the players are going to be on an eco, and that op possibly caught them by a little bit of a surprise. Even if they knew it was going to be in there, it's then your main point of contact. It's your attention on that op because you need to get him killed before he can get out another bullet. And instead, it's Leaf up close that manages to ruin their day. A decent bit invested. We also had, of course, Vanity keeping them out in the open, made sure they didn't go into lamps with the orbital strike.
Even with a few rounds in a row, 100 Thieves have still had to take a pretty weak buy here. Okay, Cryo's going to have himself a rifle. A single kill will have a tour de force, and this round changes drastically. You can even see, I think Stellar, that's how confident he is in Cryo. He's gone, I'm going to buy nothing. You will get a kill. I will get your gun.
Yeah, I think this is a smart play as well from C9. That, you know, the mid push is a little aggressive, but they're playing the orbs. They're making sure that they can't get that ult online for free with a quick orb. That molly, good timing on it. That's actually going to force them forward. Cryo now right up behind the boxes. Doesn't look like he's going to be punished for it. In the end, it just serves to slow them down. The time's already fairly limited, and it's going to force a pretty aggressive play out. Cryo in the open. That spray control was sublime, and a blast back kills comes on the back of it.
That's not a kill you're going to see too often. The run through the smoke, the risks being taken. And Derek has retrieved himself that rifle, but they are running out of time. They need to get a move on it. You can see the full force here. Nice shot from Derek at least, but he won't get anything more from it. And Stella has a nice position, but as said earlier, he only has a classic.
He's been spotted as well. And that should pretty much be it. Snakebite down on him. Flash goes out. 10 seconds. No chance for 100 Thieves. It was looking like this attack side was going to run away with the game. But all it took was an operator in the hands of Ye, and C9 are back in the game hot on 100 Thieves' heels. But of course, that was a low buy as well. Not one that we can really fault them for.
I always just love the optimism of Vanity with his guns. Like, we've already seen that twice.
Yeah.
There was the Judge at range, and now he's just trying to full sprint with a Stinger at range as well.
He was hitting shots, man. I saw some headshots come out of that somehow.
Oh. It worked out in the end. tour de force now online for Cryo in this round, so he'll be able to save them a little bit of extra cash, but Ye has his operator as well. More importantly, you still have that Viper's Pit on either side, so if they can get into an afterplant again, 100 Thieves going to be ever deadly, but at the same time, it can be used to lock down angles for the opposing side.
And it's a big deal when you're looking at Cryo with this weapon in his hands. Having a Viper's Pit could be huge on a retake. You pop that down, all of a sudden, he can't hold line of sight. Over towards the spike, this could be dangerous. Depp has thrown the flash, and he's, I believe, spotted as a player here. You don't know how dangerous that player is, though, until it's too late. A lot of the time, Tour de Force fires off. Now they've got the information to play with. They'll be much more cautious about swinging into those angles.
Yeah, I love the way they're just using their utility as well to force him off. Like, they knew exactly where he was, so just take him out of the game just by using that Tiger. Sure, he won't have it later on, but in the meantime, you have Ye pushing up. The flash has gone past him. He's going to get this kill almost for free. Such a deep position, Daring not expecting it, but Asuna has managed to find one on the trade.
Again, 100 Thieves just doing a fantastic job when they're taking these duels. They're looking towards the B side as they were. I think they've dragged the rotations. In fact, there's still a decent bit of presence. You know, the rotation coming back around from Vanity. I think he was trying to get up and above the map right there. Asuna spotting some info on the way through. Knows there's a player up top to deal with, but it's Zelsis spraying into this smoke. It's blind. He has no idea where they could be. Just wants to land a stray bullet, and nothing is to be found. That plant now secured, and they've got to fight back into the Viper's Pit with Stellar landing shots on the return.
Yeah, the second this pit has been down, he's been nasty. We saw his ace yesterday. Just knows his position so well and just dodging those bullets within that smoke. Unfortunately, the opposing one has already gone down, so they can't exactly pop another in the mix. And I feel like this is already looking like a save for the remaining players of C9. There is no way back into this site. It will be a sick for 100 Thieves.
Yeah, Ye could decide to pull out the Headhunter here, give him a bit more versatility in that pit, but you're not going to run in there with an op. It just makes far more sense to save it over to the next round and keep your economy healthy. But this, little bit of damage and a risk. Only the risk of losing the Phantom, and they've got a little bit of money to work with.
He got 4 bullets.
He does. He was spraying. He sprayed like 3 mags into the Viper's Pit and landed nothing.
If they had pushed him there, he would have had to like double tap both of them just to get out of the round, but not going to happen this time. 100 Thieves continuing to grow their lead, and that's the thing. I feel like they have thus far on this attacking side looked like the stronger side. There have been a few moments for C9, but it's the second they get into those afterplants, and Asuna has just done a fantastic job of actually just taking space. Like, every single time you've seen him get in towards lamps, basically open things up, even there just being on such an elevated angle, but it just clears so many positions that everybody else can comfortably get into a spot. They really need to start shutting him down, and while there's a few members on the other side who can probably do that.
It definitely feels like C9 have the right pieces to the puzzle here. It's just a matter of putting them together in a way that 100 Thieves can't punish quite as much. Little unfortunate for Stellar there. Eats the boom bot, takes the TP, puts up his wall on the B side. This is going to be an aggressive one. They want to try to take some control over Hookah, but with Leaf going out in the pit, again, assuming that this was going to be, I guess, a full commitment towards B, that's the pit down. They're going to stagger push, though. And of course, Ye has the confidence to back up that push that was held just moments ago. He's waiting to swing on the angle as the fight's coming down on B. A game of patience on the A site that could tell us the whole story. Yay! He's caught! Doesn't quite make it into the TP. The A site's open, but so is B by the looks of it. Just Celsius to work with, and they cannot hold on to the site. 7 rounds now for 100 Thieves with just 2 left to play for. They've guaranteed that they've won the half. And again, that question is by how much?
Yeah, the luck from Cryo in that round was just sublime. Like, catches Leaf pushing out of the Viper's Pit. A lot of the time, you're just going to expect that player to sit back and wait for you to almost try and take that control. But then he sticks around in case anybody else goes walks about and just has confidence in the rest of the team. It almost is looking like they've sort of brought in this 5th man and gone, you guys go over there. We're going to play as a squad and just work together. And 7 and 3 up already on that attacking side. This is looking very bleak for C9.
Yeah, everything they've tried so far, it's been caught and calculated. Trailblazer to start. Going to be speeding their way towards B, meeting a lot of utility on the way, and with the pace that 100 Thieves have had towards particularly this long push before, it's no surprise that C9 are so quick to dump utility to keep them back. Here comes a big ultimate out of Asuna potentially. He got caught by the flash, but the showstopper's still going, still gaining space, looking for someone to take down, but it finds nothing. The space is what it's all about, but Zepp has slipped back out, and a jump out of Hookah from Vanity. It's all coming together for C9 at long last as Cryo's left alone. I mean, they decide to use the showstopper here. I'm not sure if, you know, you sit back and take a breather in the 4v1 you needed to, but, you know, in the moment of panic, sometimes it's worth just throwing out. Up against a man like Cryo, if anyone's going to clutch it, it would be this guy.
Let's see what he can do. 4 players, a filthy crossfire. None of them going to peek either because the second he jumps out, the contact will be there from Zelsis. This crossfire should make things a nigh on impossibility. And any sound being made would give the game away. He's just trying to bait them into a swing, and well, every single member peeks at once. C9 garner themselves a 4th round, and that's probably one of the cleaner ones we've seen from them.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I mean, this one right here certainly starts to put a bit more faith into this side, and they just need to chip away at those rounds. They have been as we go. 7-5 still a possible scoreline to finish out on. This re-aggression out of Zeppa, you know, it got 1 kill.
I love seeing him see Vanity. Like, it's like Vanity jumps out and you go, that guy's on his team, so where's everyone else looking?
So that's the thing, like Zeppa finding that first kill, it's the same thing we saw when Ye was able to just take all of their focus on the other side. He had that operator, they wanted to take him down. This time Zeppa's the danger man, he's in that position. Everybody just becomes laser focused on taking him out. And at that exact time, Vanity jumping through the smoke with a Bulldog, but he's able to get the numbers way into their favor. A timeout for 100 Thieves as the last round of the half is still to be fought for. They could be walking out with an 8-4 lead, but the way things have gone, it certainly feels like they deserve it. We'll see if Cloud9 can steal it away, though.
Yeah, they've been impressive. I think probably realizing that, okay, if this goes 7-5, we lose the pistol, we've given them a way back into the game.
Absolutely.
So let's just try and stomp them out of this one as soon as possible. And that's the thing, I do feel like a lot of those rounds have sort of been blips. Like, you've had those moments of, like, a player jumping out of Hookah getting a double kill. You've had Ye getting a triple kill with the operator, but as said, the second that spike goes down, I just have full faith in 100 Thieves to convert. The retakes haven't quite been there for C9, but I do think I more so want to give credit to 100 Thieves rather than take it away from C9.
Exactly, exactly. It's 100 Thieves have just been too clinical when it comes to a lot of these pushes. I am looking at mid right now. This is an aggressive play from C9. They're almost going all in on it. A triple push down the wall there to segment them. Stellar. He's going to catch them as they come back through. He dropped his wall to try and catch them off guard, but they were all too ready once they heard it start to fall. We'll try to make up for some space lost by taking control of bathroom, and at least they get rid of the trap. But right now, C9 certainly hold all the cards, and you're always going to be worried about Ye turning up with that operator.
Orbital strike on either side, so I think you're going to see the defense not play towards lamps. Easily the most common position to try and clear, but you need to make sure that this danger man is off the angle and already just waiting above as they try and spam him out. Bang's actually got him. I think he's found him through the edge of it. A huge opener into this site. Zelsis with a spam back. It seems like either side are almost just having those little moments of luck to get them the openers. And timing here is going to be everything. The peek into the orbital strike will drop the spike on the ground. And now 2 remain for 100 Thieves.
Yeah, even getting that spike back is going to be tough. It's on the other side of the wall. I'll manage to pick it up. You imagine the sprays would be on the way, but a little bit more passive from C9.
Look at where he is.
They've got great control indeed. Zeppa's cutting them off again, but not managing to find the kill. They're onto the site. That's a rarity to see Zeppa miss that, and it's giving them a way back in.
I think he just didn't want to give things away. A shot from Derek isn't bad, but now it's on to Asuna. He's been fantastic in this game so far, but this is going to be a tough one. A double lineup ready and waiting for him, just trying to get out of dodge. He'll find the first, but a quick trade from Leaf will give C9 their 5th round, bringing it at least a little bit closer towards the end of the half, but ultimately, that's still a strong attacking side for 100 Thieves.
Yeah, it definitely is. They're not going to be disappointed with that scoreline coming into this map, but I feel like they're going to come out of this half thinking that they should have had that little bit more. They certainly could have. With that said, though, the pistol round, well, it's now carrying a little bit more weight. Like you said, 7-5 scoreline. C9 starting to pick up the pace, and if they find this pistol, they are right back into the game. Also, the comfort levels as you swap over sides. I mean, they're not going to be diced up in quite the same way that they were when 100 Thieves came to making a lot of those pushes.
Well, that's the thing. I want to now put that focus on Zelsis. I think when it goes into this attack, he has been fierce playing the race, similarly to Asuna. So I think that realistically, he's going to be someone that will be the focal point of this attack. Give that little bit of extra space to players like Ye to almost have the same lurk as Cryo. And that's almost the interesting thing about this first map is it is mirror. Like pretty much everything they are doing is going to be similar in the essence of it. It's going to come down to the individuals on the server.
Well, the pistol round strategy here, 100 Thieves have a bit of presence to deal with on this A side already. A full blitz out, the orb up, but it's only causing decay as they make their way on through. This is now scary because Leaf has caught Stellar. The flash was on point, and they have caught Asuna. He's stuck inside the bathroom with his teammate Bang. They have got to allow this plant or run through some utility.
Spike planted.
Again. His positioning over the last couple of rounds has been fantastic, just waiting to make sure that they literally can't escape. And the second they start making a move, he's going to try and move on to them. Now, Asuna is definitely reading this one, watching to try and clear this man from behind, but they can't move forward until they do. That kill's huge. Just removing him from position. Zelsis up close, wins the first battle. Might get caught reloading it, but no, he gets a double. A couple of kills coming through, but Bang's still going strong. It's the second pistol with 4 kills on one player, and they don't win the round.
I mean, again, coming down to just the last second. Even that nade thrown through, it was a panic. Just, I've got it extra. I've got the 2 kills. Why not fire through to the site? That gave Bang an extra player unaware. This guy is unbelievable.
Oh, clean.
I mean, the nade was dead on as well, though.
Yeah, it might have even
down from the grave.
Yeah, exactly. It might have even got him afterwards, but honestly, that Zeppa did exactly the same thing in the last pistol round, 4 kills and a loss, so it seems like just don't get any multi-frags and you might win the round. This is a force, though. A risk taken on the other side. A couple of rifles on at least one, and then the Stingers up for 100 Thieves.
Yeah, Cryo even going in for the Stinger, not playing with the Headhunter bullets. It's an interesting choice. We've seen the prevalence of this weapon, but the Spectre on the other side, the weapon that most players are abandoning for the Stinger, is the one to open up this round. The Phantom on Zalsis winning a duel. Ye holding for that, well, no longer a push. He's just heard the TP back, and that is going to cause them to completely change direction. The hookah lurk and the TP back leaves them diving out of the site, but through the wall, it's going to make it easier for Cryo, but it's just not the weapon for the job.
Yeah, I almost feel like maybe the Headhunter would have been the better choice, but unfortunately, you got to sit with the decisions, and that's the thing. Normally you talk about a couple of kills being a fairly decent round for the side who lost the pistol, but they forced. They fully invested. They put everything they had into this round, and well, now it's likely to be an eco, and more importantly, a good opportunity for C9 to actually take the lead.
Yeah, I mean, they put it down to a dice roll. When you play a game like that, when you take that second round force buy, it's really a statement of, well, this was a close game, first of all, but it's a statement of, we're a better team than you. We think we can win this. It didn't work out this time around. It was a good attempt. But now they're going to pay the price. C9 are up to 7, and that 8th round should be handed to them. A big eco to take place. That said, in a similar situation, we saw that op come out from Ye, right, and back them up. 100 Thieves won't have that, though. It's way too early in the half. So C9, almost certain to take the lead here.
Yeah, it's actually really interesting as well that Arsenal actually decides to save. Because a lot of the time, obviously, you're going to get the reduced credits. It means that he's going to be attempting to try and do as much damage as he can. And of course, they will have that sort of extra loss bonus going into the future round. So it's not going to be the end of the world. But I want to see what they're going to actually try and do with the small amount of weaponry they have. Because we know that they can do damage with the pistols. It's just how much.
Yeah, seeing exactly what they've got to work with as well. I mean, Cryo is going to be playing those... no, not playing the Headhunter bullets, actually. It's just down to the Classic. Obviously saving the credits up so that operator can come through when it needs to. Right here and now, C9 pumping the brakes in the early stage. They've got a flank watch on both sides of A, both laneways that they could come from. And then the rest of the team are looking towards B, just taking a bit of space, moving up through long. And the main thing here being that you don't want to see any player, unless you're watching the flank and you're on range, sure. But for the most part, you do not want to see a solo fight. There has to be someone able to trade when you're up against these weaker weapons.
Oh, a little bit of counter utility, orb being taken. And again, C9 just trying to avoid any sort of gamble. They are going to make their push through. Actually, the orbital strike thrown in. Arsenal almost manages to get a couple, but he's definitely dragged one of them desperately low. Again, this is a much weaker purchase than we even saw in the last round, but look how tagged some of these players on the C9 side are getting. A real opportunity. Stella finding another. Even hits the shot up to Bang, and it just leaves one man standing. What a round from 100 Thieves.
They didn't have the operator to work with this time around, but they made it work. My God. 100 Thieves, the force buy was brave. It was ambitious, and it didn't work out. They just sprinkle in a couple of credits here. And as we said, Cryo didn't even buy headhunter bullets. They're looking for that operator next. They're not looking to make any investment that they don't need to. And wow. They still walk out with a victory. I mean, that's karma for Cloud9 with the operator buy, but I think that one comes with a little bit of extra sting.
Yeah, I'm such a huge fan of Bang at this point. Like the guy is ridiculous, and it always seems to be in such high impact rounds as well. 8-7. The purchase coming out from C9 is not the best, that's for sure. Showstopper does kind of at least thin the lines a little bit. There's no ults remaining on the other side. Arsenal, though, he seems to have the right idea. Getting rid of Leaf would be huge. Instead, though, it's going to be that execution.
Good shot, Asuna down, up close here, Bang. He's been phenomenal. He's going into the smoke, catching A off guard, but here come the spams in return. He's down to 50 HP, and Zelsis pops him in the head to close that duel out. 100 Thieves on the back foot. Derek's super low, and he can't heal himself up. They got to rely on Cryo, the operator. It was the turning point over on this Cloud9 side, but for 100 Thieves, it's only now arriving to the A site. This was a solo B from Cryo once that pressure comes through. And with them only getting here now, and there not really being any opportunities presented, and you know Cloud9 are playing post-plant with probably their Molly, their Snake Bites, it's just not worth going for. And indeed, those Molly and Snake Bites have already been deployed, just showing how much they can run that clock down before they even need to take a duel.
Yeah, no, a good resurgence. I think that's the sort of round C9 needed. If you lose this one, especially after you invest back in, I think 100 Thieves could have run away with the map. Like, after winning a force buy like that, or not even a force buy, a low investment. Now, though, this is where things get a little bit more interesting, because you have some weapons saved up. You've still got that operator, which was avoided in the last round, and a lot of that, again, came down to just some fantastic entries from Zelsis, which, as I said, is something we expect in this second half, but it is something that will eventually get shut down on the other side. Say he runs into Cryo with that operator, it's definitely going to be a little bit more difficult. So definitely going to need some slight adaptations there, but it is fun, because we've got this close match, back and forth with these force buys working out, and it's whether or not, well, it seems like 100 Thieves actually want to slow it down a little bit and not let that get out of control.
Again, this is one of the turning points of the game. A swing round of 100 Thieves can manage to get back into the lead, steam away with it. But Cloud9, they'll be coming in with a strong response. It's worth gathering yourself at this point. You don't want to let it slip just yet. You said coming into this is Cloud9's map pick. They're already being challenged on map number 1. The pool, in theory, only gets closer as we go throughout this BO5. Now's the time for them to show up coming out of this pause.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, this is going to be a marathon, not a sprint. We're already seeing such a close game in the first, but I do think that getting that first on the board, especially as we go deeper into this map pool, there's going to be maps that we haven't even really seen either of these teams play. Like, I think we've got Icebox coming up a little bit later on. I don't know if they've got anything special there, but thus far in the tournament, I don't think either of the teams have really put much stock into Icebox. So that's going to be an interesting one if we get to that stage. Winning that first map, though, this is where I think both teams are going to have those sort of like, okay, this is where we are both at least comfortable to play. And for, well, C9, that's where they actually took it.
Well, this round certainly has a slow approach from C9, spreading the blanket across the map, looking for control and looking for duels. There's duos on the B site on each angle. Utility from Sky gets Zelsis up close, control of the orb now theirs. Hookah push being watched for the entire time, and of course with this wall from the defensive side, it's a big factor to consider that at any point they can just shift walk out of Hookah, take that extra angle, be behind the box. It causes a lot of problems. But then they had just one player in the form of Ye sitting outside a bathroom this whole time, watching for a peek, a push, absolutely anything. But 100 Thieves are being so passive. Both of these teams giving an enormous amount of respect to each other, but eventually that fight has to come down. And with 45 seconds on the clock, C9 move forward. They look for some control, and it looks like we could see it indeed. Oh, bang! A double kill and Asuna's answer on the other side. That is a conclusion to the round with the up of Ye being the last man standing and the last hope for C9.
Oh, he's actually going to go through the TP. They hadn't even rotated that far away, so players are just going to be waiting. He's about to jump into the loving arms of some of the members of 100 Thieves, and Asuna's going to get him straight through the wall. Again, though, you'd look at Bang's position, you go, okay, maybe he gets one. But getting a double like that, just starting off the round so strong, and the rest of the team being able to shut it back. It's back and forth all the way through here. C9 100 Thieves, C9 100 Thieves. Let's see if there's another response.
It's unbelievable from Bang. We had a showstopper used up on the other side of the map, right? Trying to force that fight in an awkward duel between Asuna and his counterpart. But in the end, it's 100 Thieves rolling out with, I mean, a hell of a lot of brawn in that round, putting a 9th one on the board, and Cryo feeling confident on the back of it. Some aggressive posting to begin, but that wall, that's going to cause some problems for what he was looking for.
He's still sticking around, though. Hoping that he can be given the shot. They are expecting somebody to be here, and actually, Zelsis swings through the screen. Gets that opener for free. Still a couple of players here, but they managed to bypass the orbital strike. Or maybe not. One of them goes down. A nice shot from Zelsis again. Just being the opener, and they're trying to respond. Force Derek out of that corner and give them a little bit of extra space.
Well, Derek certainly forced out of the corner, but Asuna's come in to respond, swinging his way in through the lamps, and now a shining light for this team. A beacon of hope in the round, and it looks like he'll close it himself. Down to 10 HP, though. And Zeppa's gone through the TP, faked the flash onto B as he wraps his way back around, looking for the plant, and hoping to have sold that fake completely. But 100 Thieves, they're being cautious. And without the plant coming down already, they're thinking, is he pushing spawn? Is he getting close? Is he trying to force these duels? And now I think the pieces of that puzzle are going to start to come together.
Yeah, I like that they're sticking together as well. Not going to over-rotate, not going to stick one per site. Just basically look to play this one together. They still have Snake Bites, Blast Pack, a little bit of utility to play with. And actually, by the looks of it, Zeppa was just hoping for a fight. He's low on HP. He doesn't really have the opportunity to take both of these players on at the same time, so he was hoping that somebody would make a mistake. The flash, however, will delay them at least for a second. Now, bear in mind that Asuna is so low on HP that if he can hit a bullet, that will isolate into that 1v1, but it'll be a different story with Stella. And the snake bite, he can't push through it. He just doesn't have the HP to. He almost had. Oh no, he's going to risk it. Try and catch them off guard, but Asuna again is there. 3 kills for him in the round. Double digits now for 100 Thieves.
I think he had to make that push there realistically. In the position it's planted, it's open. It can cause a lot of confusion for your opponent on where you are, but at the same time, that snake bite down, the player tooks the box, sticks to the defuse while he's being covered for the short push. It's a guaranteed win, and he realized the time wasn't on his side if they were sticking it. Unfortunately, they weren't, so they were able to just take him down very easily. But a very good attempt in what should have been, I think, a much quicker conclusion to the round. He managed to get through the TP, sell the fake, get the plant. But ultimately, the round result stays the same, and 100 Thieves put another round on the board.
Yeah, finally managing to get a couple in a row since the pistol. And again, this puts some weaker purchases. Now, I'm looking at that Viper's Pit. That's the main threat in this round. You go in there with Spectres, Stingers, and they basically act like your normal rifles once players start getting decayed. So that's the main goal here for C9. Get into an afterplant, and then have that set up.
Well, the Trailblazer destroyed right away, still a trap. Oh, Cryo! He wasn't expecting Leaf there, but the quick scope came in.
There goes the Viper's Pit.
Seeker's on their way, and a good kill there. Okay, Zelsis down. This is going to make it much harder to do anything.
Yeah. They don't have the one ult that really would have done something other than this now for Ye. He's basically just going to have to try and obliterate everybody. Plant will at least get them into a position where they can try and buy as much time as possible. But ultimately, he's hoping someone gives them a draw. And actually, that orb is perfect. It just allows them to get that little bit closer. Arsena just hitting everything, and eventually, Ye will fall as well. It's left all onto Vanity. A Spectre versus 4. In fact, I don't think the Molotovs hit him. He's just defusing. Has to swing eventually. And 100 Thieves a couple away now from taking their opponent's map.
Hey, that was a good attempt. I saw the blast pack up and over the operator from Asuna. He actually avoided the scope completely and managed to take a fight then afterwards. I think his teammates, not fully expecting over on that C9 side that the player would be able to cross the op without being spotted, but some nice movement, and it got him there to catch Zeppa off guard. For 100 Thieves now, I mean, this is the home stretch. Still got to worry about that Viper's Pit being online, and sure, that round had a lot of weaknesses to it, and once the pit goes down, you expect that it will just crumble. But if 100 Thieves win this, it's all but over on map number 1. And again, this is Cloud9's map choice, their first map choice in this series. Logically, as it goes on, the maps should get closer. Right now, it's certainly not looking favored to C9.
Well, yeah, up next we've got Fracture, which is, again, a great map for both sides, but I do think 100 Thieves have looked incredible on that map. And Osuna, again, showing that another map where he plays Raze, I wouldn't like to go in that direction, let's put it that way. Now an operator on either side, ults starting to stack up a little bit, and it's looking like we're going straight into B.
Yes, it is. A Molly and nade, and they've got it fully cleared. Osuna, though, pops the showstopper, and this is supposed to be a threat that stops them from planting. When they decide to stick it, well, he has a good idea where they're going to be. Taking down Vanity, robbing them of any smokes, robbing them of that Molotov that's been so annoying, although they used it early to get in there. Showstopper fired out on the other side, blind fire, and it landed nothing.
Yeah, he needs to hold this angle. Oh, the quick switch! And he comes out with 2! The best headhunter player in the world for a reason. And well, the second that happens, 100 Thieves are out. Not even going to bother trying to give this one a go. Wanting to make sure their economy stays strong. Wanting to try and save some of the weapons. Zels is hoping to close them down, but why does he even buy an operator? That's the question. It's so grotesque.
The funny thing about that is that the pit secures them the spawn. They have snake bites down in it as well to make sure that these defenders can make their way back out through, but it was just yay. That was the only other angle they could approach from in that scenario, and he locks every single duel down. Phenomenal work, and that's going to propel you right back up there. Certainly feeling like they're still in with a chance. I mean, they're on their heels, but we need to see that consistency now. They can't slip up.
That's the thing, there's so much individual talent on this C9 roster. I think there's obviously going to be work to be done to get everything ready over the next couple of months, but when you have stuff like this, sometimes it just doesn't even matter. Crosshair placement, unbelievable, and well, it still feels like a little bit of a blip on the other side of things. Like 100 Thieves is still in the driver's seat. They've still got plenty of finances to be able to buy back into this one. I don't think there's going to be any problems there. But if players like Ye start to come online, if we start to see a little bit more from Zappa, if we have done throughout this tournament, Leaf as well being caught off a few times, there's so much potential for the C9 roster that they could easily turn this back around.
And that's the timeout called here again. One of their last chances to keep themselves in this map and take it back out of 100 Thieves' hands. And this is their home ground in this series. It's where they want to take that victory. You can see Cyber Focus, some conversations going around. This is where Ye's IGLing gets put to the test.
Of course, this is where he earns his money.
That's what he's best at. And right now, though, hell of a game from Zelsis. 21 kills and 15 deaths. And for the man that's often going to be your point guy going in, taking space, he's just been finding those.
Well, you say that. Bang has 24.
Yay. He almost had that angle. I think he just barely missed the jump onto the brick. It allowed Cryo to cross, but he has a good idea that's a possibility here.
This might be one of the last times we see these two face off against each other on Chamber. It has got a hard nerf coming. We'll see how flexible they're going to be on that agent from now on, but there's definitely a show to be had. The winner here could define the round, but the fact is he's heard the push coming in onto the side of the peak, and Ye's going to win it.
Out of charges.
Catching that timing, but more importantly, Bang has allowed them to rotate back through. Zelsis is a little bit low as well. That molly could actually cause him some serious issues. Gonna have to get back into the corner. Has a bit of support from his teammate, a Molotov to slow them down.
They just won't let him escape. The spams were keeping him in that corner. Their utility going through. They know that Zelsis is still there. You let him get away. He gets to his teammates. They set up. Who knows if you're going to be able to carve that control back out of their hands. But now, in a 3v3, there's a possibility. Again, though, you've got to deal with Ye. That wall, well, it's not going to save them for long. They try to emerge, see the up, and that's it. They are out of here.
Yeah, with that much control deep within the site, it didn't really leave much of an opportunity for 100 Thieves to get back in. And again, they want to make sure they're coming in with purchases. And that round, you lose the first couple of entries, you make it a bit more costly, but you don't really want to risk it here. 10 rounds now on the board for C9. The comeback looking like it could be on here. And well, a few rounds for either side and Bind could go their way.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we said it started out neck and neck, and it was a close game all the way through. And we are going to go down to the final rounds just to decide it. Like I said, in this series, I feel like anything short of 5 maps is just daylight robbery. These two teams have been just schooling everyone going throughout this tournament, looking like they're in a different tier.
Except Focus.
Well, except Focus,
Except
yeah.
Focus. They didn't school Focus.
They didn't. Focus knew what was going on. Oh, a little snake bite down, but he's already in. Zelsis runs into heavy traffic. And with Stellar's double, that has put a quick halt to C9's plans.
Yeah, definitely not the start that they were looking for. They're also going to spot the corner position, but actually Leaf manages to get out of there, and Ye's found another. Back into a 3v3 scenario. Again, the advantage is diminishing so quickly, but there's still Arsena to deal with. I don't know if they'll expect him to be here. They've tried to bait him out with a peek. Vanity's going to go down for it, and a swing out again! Asuna with a double, he goes for everything! But Ye will put him in his place. A 1 versus 2, spike in hand, a chance to rotate. This time, there actually isn't anybody on the other side of the map, but he's going to go facing in instead. And with spotting that operator, you might think he'd want to go back, but no. He's going to go for the plant.
The orbital strike came through. He knows Brim's got to be somewhat close, but he's managed to get that spike down. If he could reposition with this operator, it could be everything. Oh, he's not going to make it. He got caught on the boxes on the way back through. And bang, with the whole bang, puts 100 Thieves up to 12. What a disaster. It was so close to another signature Ye play.
No, I fully believed. The second he hit that first shot, I was like, well, Bang has got a job on his hands, but it's this from Arsena as well. Like, this double kill basically just put the round to bed, other than just Ye having to hit a couple of crazy reaction shots. Man. It's just that clip, that slight pixel on the box that catches him, and otherwise I think he takes it.
He was scoped in, you know, you don't even know how far back you are at that point. He thought he'd taken one more step at full speed, but not quite. And you can see they're thinking, he wins that most of the time. Of course, it's the wall bang to finish it. Okay, 12 to 10. This means 2 chances for Cloud9 on their map pick to push it to overtime. Victory in regulation, no longer possible. Victory no longer probable. 100 Thieves have the reins. See if they can hold on to them. Stellar with a very aggressive push. And of all the rounds to do it, that has put a spanner in the works. Cryo won't win the duel though.
Yeah, it's happened a couple of rounds now where we've seen the peak come in for Ye, and he's still winning those battles. An integral one to put this back into a 4v4 scenario. And Leaf, now looking to almost lead the charge. Bang is within the smoke. Just meters away from each other. Both sat within the corner, both looking for that hookah control, and almost both waiting for somebody on the other side to make a mistake. As the rest of the team look to try and push through that long position. This fight for hookah could be absolutely everything, but Bang is not moving at all. Ye is going to take down Arsena, but this position from Bang, he needs to get something here. Finds a double, there's another within, and he comes out with 3! He's going to put the game to bed! Bang with the 4K, 13 to 10, 100 Thieves take map 1.
As if he didn't have enough. This game serves as a highlight reel for this man. Kill after kill going his way. We saw it even in pistol rounds, but closing it out in that fashion. That's Cloud9's map pick in the pockets of 100 Thieves. And now we look at the rest of this BO5, a leg up to the team that has looked unstoppable. Ye's been dealt with. How much more can they do?
That's the thing. I think it's easy to forget with 100 Thieves. Like, you talk about these additions. You talk about, like, Crow's come in, upgrade from Will, yada, yada. You forget what they already had. And Bang, what an incredible way to start the series on the controller. I think he top-ranked the entire game by quite a significant margin. And they were all high-impact frags. But you know what, Mitch? We need a bit of a break. And I've heard we've got some fantastic analysts sat by alongside Yinsu to break this one down.
Thank you very much, Mitch and Tom. 100 Thieves, they're starting this off with a bang, and pun intended, 100% there. I'm back here with Mary, Kakuka, and Sliggy. Look at these stats right now. This is from Ban just now on Bind. This guy, Sliggy, is absolutely on fire.
This is unheard of as well. So you kind of see these stats a lot of the time in just stomps, right? Maybe like 13 threes. This was like a crazy close game. Like, how is this possible? That is madness, so much damage per round there as well. What a performance, just so many times. So like the impact is just so crazy, so many multi-kills, what a performance. And I talked about him in terms of his role, he just does so much on his role. Even his first kills are just crazy high for just playing the roles that he's on in terms of smoker. So yeah, what a performance.
If you decide to go for the double controller here on this map and you have Bang given this performance, having Stellar on the calls, we just see in the kills here, they literally have control over the entire map, and I think that's something that we saw time and time again. Don't get me wrong, I think that C9 put it extremely close. It's plays like this that, you know, make me think, especially at the end, they really needed Ye to step up and close some of the rounds, and otherwise would have had probably a 13-8.
Yeah, I know Zephyr was saying how they wanted Vanity to play more like Mars, but Bang, I feel like this is looking really peak Marv-esque.
For sure, yeah. I mean, like, even the last round, like, his positioning was just great.
It's night and day.
Did you think that he was going to get 4 when
honestly,
you were watching that?
I loved his patience, that's for sure. Just holding that angle and waiting for the long
I want to know what he had for breakfast. You know, we were seeing the Turkish team
footballers
at the beginning of the day being like, we have breakfast all together, and there was a table full of food. I want to know what Bang had, and I definitely want to have it. Don't get me wrong, we saw many amazing plays from the side of 100Thieves. The impact of the Brimstone ult for the executes of both these teams, the instant responses coming in from one another, it's insane. I mean, we're in for a treat.
Yeah, this is the kind of high-level stuff I wanted to see from this final. This was just mad.
Was that?
I really didn't think he was going to get the third one there. I had no idea he managed to get the third one and managed to clean it up. Yeah, just what a solo performance, but also I don't want to neglect the other 4. They did great. Everyone doing their roles. Stella did a lot for the team, and just Asuna as well, just getting just good damage off and just perfect info as well from Derek and Asuna all the time. So they just kind of knew where they were going. Yeah, I just thought this was a great game. This was the kind of level that I expect going into this, and I'm so glad we're seeing it.
Yeah, and talking about Celsius and Ye again, they were again, you know, fulfilling the roles into getting the first kills, getting the openers. The problem is that 100Thieves had a way back into everything, especially when we were seeing them on the defense. We saw that the moment that C9 wanted to start on the execute, 100Thieves had an instant response every single time. It was impossible to go on the attack for them.
And also, Mary, I heard you after pistol round, you were like, I think maybe I need to change my prediction. But yeah, what did you make of that game?
Honestly, I felt like 100Thieves going on attack was the right thing to do, because they set out the, what's it called? The momentum of the game, and I would say they made Cloud9 play the way 100Thieves wanted them to play by, I would say.
Yeah, we talk about the pace setting, right, as well.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I mentioned pistols there because we actually saw 100Thieves lose a pistol, which is the 4th one they've lost this entire tournament, Sliggy.
Yeah, so yeah, that itself is just a good sign for 100Thieves. It's like, even if they lose the pistols, they can still win out these. The buy rounds look good. Their afterplants were crazy. 7 out of 8 they won in terms of afterplants. That's very strong. Brimstone Molly always coming down. Everyone knew their set roles. The flashes that came in, there was a round that I want to talk about in a bit. Just some of the util is just, it's just impeccable. There was an interesting thing as well in terms of the defense side where I saw a buy, but this is the round that I want to talk about. So they get the plant down on the site, and we're going to have a 5v5 retake. I just thought all the util was great. What I really wanted to talk about here was just Stella and just how these IGLs on both of these teams will just go above and beyond for their team. They know what they have to do, and they'll just either take low buys in terms of judges, in terms of vanity, or Stella can just make big plays. Look at this flash that comes in. That's so perfect. The util in this round is great. Brim ult comes in as well. Look at this from Stella. He knows. They've been studying C9. I talked about it a little bit in terms of the crew game. All the time, Vanity likes to just smoke the spike, instantly stick on it. So they know from the tendencies of C9 that they like to do this. So he knows they're going to stick this. I have to be the person to make the play. Ye missed the shot, and he completely capitalized on it. 7 out of 8 after plants is mad.
It's insane. I mean, if they keep pulling out this performance throughout the entire grand finals, I think that is going to be a very short day today.
Yeah, I also want to hear a little bit about, I think, Sliggy, you want to talk about the anti-eco, right?
Yes. So okay. So defense side, 100Thieves lost their pistol. We haven't really seen that too much because their pistol record is
but
crazy.
Why? You need to mention why. Why did they lose? There was one key factor.
No, it's fine. We won't go into that. But there's a lot of frenzies, basically.
Yeah.
For sure, was what it was. But basically, they decided to buy on the defense half, which kind of doesn't happen too much. I wanted to experiment it with a bit because obviously the FPX buy that goes around, there's 3 guns and sometimes there's 2 people with pistols. You can kind of capitalize that, and even damage done, if you get over 3 kills and they can't pick up all the guns, is really, really strong. So I don't know if that's something coming into this tournament that they've been trying to do and we just haven't seen it because they haven't lost many pistols. So I want to keep an eye on that. It didn't work, but they won the next round, like I said, so they kind of have like an even buy. They saved some of the guns into the 3rd round. So yeah, I'm going to keep an eye on that. Really interesting. It's something that I wanted to try. 100 Thieves are doing all the things that I wanted to try.
They're taking all of your stuff.
Fade Sova. I'm looking at it. I'm jealous.
If
like,
they
I'm
offer
jealous.
you a job, there you go.
Yeah, it looks fun.
But where do you sit on this, on the defense, if you lose the pistol and forcing right after that?
Personally, we never did that, honestly. We'd usually go for like stacks or like 5-man pushes somewhere. But I don't know about the force, actually. It's questionable.
It is questionable. It didn't end up working out.
That's
either.
the thing. It's for me, it's like it's a question mark. I don't know. Is it worth? It might be worth. I would love to just run it, check the stats. I reckon they've been doing it in practice, and to see it come out in LAN, I think maybe it's been working for them.
It's definitely something that you want to test. This is the perfect moment to do it. Maybe it was about to get things to get very, very close. Probably would have taken us to overtime, if not by the fact that after that they actually go on an eco with I think that a Stinger and a Spectre, and they actually managed to win the round. Probably is trying to stick to the plan. Also getting those Stingers. You know that still you have the buff, and if you want to go crazy with them, we know how it really work.
Well, 100 Thieves, they are 1-up right now in this best of 5. We've spoken a lot about them, but how well do they know each other? We have a video here to show you guys where the players of 100 Thieves are quizzing, which, Mary, I know you won the quiz earlier, so I want to see how this one's going to turn out.
We're going to see.
It's time for the home ground 100 Thieves quiz.
This is great.
Who has the highest average assists per match?
I'll say I do.
I think Derek.
Peter.
Yeah, it might be me.
Peter.
The answer is Bang.
He's not doing anything. That stim beacons go crazy. He's not doing anything.
I try to tell my team.
The stim beacons go crazy.
That's interesting.
Who has the highest average headshots per match?
Oh, that's easy.
Bang.
I'm gonna go with Bang.
I'll say Derek also.
I don't want to say myself, so Bang.
Alright.
Don't be shy.
I think it's either me or Derek, so I'll say Derek.
The answer is Bang.
Yes, sir.
Who has the highest average leg shots per match?
I hope to God it's not me. Or I'll say me for this one. I hope I'm wrong.
I'll say me.
Who has the worst crosshair placement? Yeah, I'm gonna go with Peter.
Oh.
I'll go with Peter.
Oh.
I'll go with Peter.
The answer is Stellar.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, guys, come on. Wait. All of you guys.
I knew my aim was bad.
Who has the highest average frag per round?
Kills per round? Cryo.
Cryo,
yeah.
Cryo.
Me, Cryo.
The answer is
Yeah.
Cryo.
Nice.
The winner of the home ground 100 Thieves quiz is Stellar.
Yes.
Of course, Stella would win that quiz. Big brains, on the team.
He has to know.
Yeah, he has to know. But Mary, you were just telling me how you've actually scrimmed against them before. So talk me through that experience. What were they like?
We actually did back in, I think when they were in for Champions, first tumble, we did. And their performance was insane. Like the way they were playing together, always seeking for info, I would say. And yeah, it went great.
I mean, this is a team, we talk about 100 Thieves, right? They have a great team and also a great coaching staff. We were kind of theorizing a little bit when Cloud9 were playing against Crew because Cloud9 obviously did their homework. You could see that they had the tells. And I did ask you guys this already. Do you feel like they could do that against 100 Thieves? Now we've seen Bind. What do you guys make of it?
It wasn't as obvious for sure. I actually felt like I could see it a lot more in a 100 Thieves game, and maybe that helped in terms of them having today to kind of look over it. They were shutting down showers a lot of the time, or toilets, depending on what you call it. So yeah, it was interesting. I felt like they kind of came in, they kind of knew what was going down. It felt like they had the better reads from what I saw, and maybe that comes into play of just playing a semi-final earlier today and picking to do that.
Yeah, and also knowing that we're going to jump into Fracture now when we talk about, you know, having a very designated plan, a very clear idea of what you want to do. Fracture is definitely a map that you need to have on your back to in that kind of performance. So, you know, I'm kind of starting to cheer for 100Thieves.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about Fracture, because on the previous map, I think I was a little bit split, but on this one, I'm at least very, very confident about 100Thieves Fracture. I think they look insane on it.
And I think that's the big worry, right?
Yeah.
That is the big worry, because, yeah, you're kind of looking, obviously, and even just from C9's point of view, first map, they're going for what they think. They want to get off to a good start. They pick Bind, they lose that. That's a big worry. So, yeah, Fracture, like, I agree with you. I think they look great on Fracture. I'm worried for C9.
We saw Asuna going on the race as well, and I think that's something that they picked up from C9, being like, oh, they already played against Vitality, and it was an easy 13-3. What was the key? You know, Asuna was maybe not having the best performance on Neon. He was like, yeah, we're just going to go for the race, and it was swift. It was easy for them. So I think that they're going to go for the same plan.
I will say that, because Mary, you were recently in the best of 5 where you guys were the heavy favorites on the maps that they were picked in the first 3 maps. And obviously, in the end, you guys managed to lose that, but you reverse swept. So C9, they're 1 map down right now. Talk me through, you know, how they might be feeling and how they can kind of bounce back here.
I mean, if I was C9 right now, I'll just forget Bind and just move on, play the next map, and see how it goes. Do the next map, forget the next map. Just keep on having that mentality, and we'll see how it goes.
It sounds like easier said than done, right? So how do you actually just be like, no, that didn't happen, we move on?
I mean, it does tear you down when it comes to confidence-wise, but if you really have the mental for it, I would say that it's easy, and I'm pretty sure they do.
I mean, you guys have the best mental in the game, because that reverse sweep, I don't know if you guys saw it, but that was something else, I
didn't see it yet.
Yeah, you were there.
That's something that we hadn't really seen in Valorant as well in terms of reverse sweep. So yeah, it's impressive. I think teams, as you go on as well, you kind of, you know from practices as well and just how games go that you can always come back. Like even it's the same like thought process, sorry, when you're like 10-2 down or something, you're like, in practice, this has gone so well for us. Like on this half, we know, like we're confident in it, and you can just think of all the good moments that you've been good on, like certain maps, and you're fine just to think about that.
Open your chakras.
Exactly.
Oh my God, yeah.
We might see a reverse
but
sweep,
definitely.
though.
You think we're going to see a reverse sweep?
You're in for it.
I think I will. So here's the thing.
All she knows is reverse sweeps. That's all you know.
I'm going to call you out on this one. The night before the grand final, Mary messaged me at like 2 a.m. being like, yo, wait, I can't sleep. I can't sleep. I don't know what to do. I'm very nervous. And I'm like, just go calm down. You know, like just walk around your room, take a shower, go to bed. You need to be rested. And we were talking about the map veto. And I was like, you know, I think that you should do against Shopify what Cloud9 did against them, because, you know, if they know their opponent very well, so just, you know, copy that. And she was like, no, we have a different plan. We have a different plan. I was like, you know, I think it's a mistake, but it's your team. You make the decision. And by the end of that day, after that reverse sweep, I looked at you and I told you, you made this harder than it was supposed to be.
Oh, so basically Kakuka is the reason. You're the brain of this operation.
We're G2, you know. We're in it for the content. We had to, you know, put some spice in that.
I mean, that is also very Cloud9. Cloud9 have to do it for the content
we might
as well.
see that. We actually don't know. But I can feel a reverse sweep. I don't know why.
That's what I mean.
Okay, already.
Our gut feeling is always right,
road.
Kakuka.
So you're feeling that 100Thieves are going to take this one and then Cloud9 reverse sweep?
Yeah.
Sliggy?
I like that.
I mean, I'm down for it. Like I said, third map is Icebox, right? So C9 have a relatively spicy, the comp they said. So yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Do you know the composition?
I know the comp. I'm not. Yeah, I know it. So I'm not gonna link it. It's like it's fine.
Then it fits the narrative perfectly, because you know after losing Bind, you know jump into Fracture, and then it's Cloud9 being like, let's go to Icebox.
You know, this actually gives me flashbacks, because we also lost time.
You did.
And then it was Ascent.
Oh, okay.
So
well,
this
I mean, maybe now we have Mary on the desk. It's a bit of a good luck charm, but we're going to head into Agent Select here on Fracture. We can predict things, but it's not over just yet. We are on map 2, of course, in this best of 5. And Sliggy, what are you expecting here?
Yeah, so I was thinking, so 100Thieves is the only kind of team that I think might change something up, but again, with their performance the other day, I just don't think it's going to happen. It's nice, again, to see that they have 2 comps on this map that they can rely on, but Asuna and Raze, I love to watch it. I just think it's great. great. Just enable him, just let him loose. He's a bit crazy when it comes to some of the blast packs, but his team set him up. I really am starting to like Derek on the breach as well for this. I think his util is great. So yeah, I'm excited. Again, Omen. So what I actually thought was going to happen when you see the Omen normally on Fractures, at least on the defense side, you normally see the one ways in A main.
Yeah.
They actually didn't go for that too much, which is kind of interesting. So I wonder if
saving it.
that's what I'm saying. I wonder if they're going to start off with like using the one way over towards A main, whereas the game before they kind of saved it for a bit later games. So it'll be interesting.
I'm telling you, after the performance that he just had on Bind, if there was a moment to blow out those one ways and have another brilliant performance, Bang is going to do it now.
Also, on the other side, the benefits of a Brim definitely on this map is fast A, right? Because you can smoke heaven, you can smoke the floor, and then you can smoke drop. So that's one of the benefits of having the Brim stim pack down. You can take A main fast. So we might see that. That's kind of just what I like about the Brim. It just allows you to just fast A split, and it's pretty strong.
Yeah, and before we jump into this game, I'm really sad to say that we've had to say goodbye to Mary. I was hoping to have you for a couple more maps, but unfortunately, we're going to have you here. But if a reverse sweep does come in, we'll get you. We'll get you to go.
Yeah.
We'll get you 100%
map 5
to have your
sure.
moment.
For sure.
100%. Thank you so much for joining us, Mary.
Of course.
All right, and it's time for us to jump into map 2 and throw this over to Mitch and Tom.
Thank you so much, Yinsu. Yes, map number 2, Fracture. We can only hope that it's going to deliver like that first one did. The multi-kills and the close game all the way through. Let's keep it going.
That's the thing, the desk is already hyping up a reverse sweep and we're going into map 2. We haven't even got through it yet. They're already looking at C9 making a comeback. So I don't know if the 100 Thieves fans will be too happy with that one, but I do think we've got a game on our hands. I think this map is going to be a much faster paced, exciting look for either side.
Absolutely, the teams have had their little bit of downtime to discuss what went wrong on the previous, but in such a close game, I mean, it comes down to those split-second decisions. This is anyone's map, but 100 Thieves have chosen it. As we get into Fracture, I'll ask you again, Manchester, make some noise. Let's kick off map number 2.
Already looking a little bit more aggressive from that defensive side. The knife actually does catch one player in the form of Zephyr early on, so they know that they're sort of spread out across the map. The B site looks like the point of call, and 2 players up above in the tower might make it a little bit more difficult. It's always tough to get into that side of the map, but Stellar as well, already finding the lurk of Ye.
Yeah, just a slightly different timing than they were expecting if that push was to come through, and it's caught them off guard. Leaf does well to recover, but you never expect a second player up there. This time around, Bang has to be pressured from all angles, and they'll deal with him. No 4K for him in this pistol as 100 Thieves come back into a 3v3.
Yeah, they did very well to clear that out. Get the afterbomb down. It's always going to be difficult on this B side of the map, but they've all been caught by the knife. Bar Zephyr, he's trying to watch them on the cross. Vanity, though, hiding within his own smoke, and the pistol round goes the way of C9. Vanity with a triple.
Fantastic stuff. Not quite the 4Ks that we got out of the previous, but I guess we'll accept it this time around. It is.
Now, if you get 4K, you lose the round.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
You don't win the round.
Smart play by Vanity. Yeah, he could have probably got the 4th then, and he decided not to. But in these rounds, right, this gives you that little injection that 100 Thieves were getting last time. Now Cloud9 get off to a good start. First round under their belt. All they have to do is avoid, well, it should be the anti-eco, but just take a look at what 100 Thieves are bringing into this round. That is an unusual buy for round number 2.
Yeah, especially on the defense. Like, that's the thing. Like, going in for the force buys on the attacking side, you can see it because of a plant or a little bit of extra credits, but here they've done it on that defense, really feeling confident in the stingers at the moment. And it's not even like they're going for some sort of risky stack. That's a perfect flash, though. The main reason bringing in that Omen is to use that paranoia to your advantage, and to find an opening like that onto Vanity, well, that's your controller down.
Yeah, Vanity's blitz smokes can be good, but use that flash correctly in the hands of someone like Bang after last map, it is a scary thought. Now look, he's already found the first, and the weapons aren't at that much of a disadvantage here for 100 Thieves, and in a close range fight, Bang comes ahead. That's 2 kills for him, and he's dealing damage to Ye. Cryo finishes. This could be a disaster. They win the pistol, and they lose the second.
Yeah, it might be destroying their pistol stats, but I don't think 100 Thieves are going to mind too much. Bang again. It's such a sublime performance in map number 1, now already causing havoc when it comes to that defensive side of B, which, as I said, it's already very difficult to take as it is, with him just almost styling on them, being able to isolate these jewels. I also want to watch how this is going to go for Leaf, because he is someone that, in his sort of prime on Duelist, was easily one of the best players in North America, like truly unbelievable. Now he's fallen back into a slightly different role on other maps, like we saw him playing a little bit of Viper when it came to the last, but this is where I expect him to thrive on that Raze, so we'll see how he'll do in the entries. It hasn't gone fantastically thus far, but I'm expecting a lot.
Well, Vanity's triple responded by Bang's triple as they get the round up. 100 Thieves now almost let Leaf slip through, but Bang is being cautious. He checked it just in time, a quick blitz right down through A main. We've seen this in just the previous round, but the pace is certainly being picked up, forcing Ye to run away and play down underneath the B site. Stellar up above, here's the steps, gets blinded, and he is under a lot of pressure right now. All they're missing is that A main pincer, but it doesn't come through. Oh, this is a bit of a disaster. If you're a C9 fan, you're left with Ye. Well, he's taken down. He had the Vandal. I thought that would have been the chance, but a quick headshot pretty much closes the round.
Yeah, and another triple. This is going to be Cryo this time around. The slight investment coming through to try and give Ye an opportunity to, again, steal a round away, similarly to what he did with the Operator in the last map, but this time it didn't go anywhere near as well. And in fact, that rifle has now gone into the opponent's hands, and they're going to have it for the next round.
Yeah, so they came into this, they lose the opening, they decide on a force buy, a triple kill, not with a stinger, it was a double kill, then a classic for the third kill out of Bang. And then they follow it up by getting a free rifle. The economy is looking pretty healthy for 100 Thieves. And look at this, round number 4, you're already going to see an Operator in play because of it. Cryo pulling this scoped weapon through, and the pace of that will probably catch them off guard. But here's the thing, C9 aren't going near it. They're moving into the B site, they're putting everything on the line here. You're going to have an orbital strike right off the rip. It's caught. Leaf! They took down their own player, and 100 Thieves keep following up with more kills. Oh, C9! They tried their hardest, but that did not go according to plan.
Was that like some sort of surprise strat of like we put an orbital strike down and then run through it before it properly hits? Because if not, that was insane, because Leaf didn't look like he was stopping for a second. And Vanity put that down basically directly on his head. That's one of the weirdest attempts I think I've ever seen. Maybe it's something huge brain that sometimes works, but the fact that...
Have a guess who called this timeout, Tom?
Is it the team that orbital strike themselves?
It might be.
Okay,
it might be a little bit of a C9 tactical timeout. I think they need to realign some of their chakras on that one, because they were out of sync, let's say.
Yeah, just a little bit. And again, these early starts that come out for 100 Thieves, this time not even winning the pistol, it's just so devastating. Like, you look how close the last game ended up. A couple of these early rounds going back and forth a different way, and C9 could have easily taken bind. Like, it wasn't a blur, it wasn't a whitewash. They definitely had a good performance in the late game. That was the thing. They came back into it, but again, off to a bit of a slower start. 100 Thieves, like, we sort of see them chatting backstage. They're feeling very, very confident at this point in time, and already a map up, as you mentioned. Fracture is their choice, is a map they've been great on in this tournament so far.
So I've been racking my brain trying to think, like, what was the idea? How do you end up that deep in heaven in an orbital strike of your teammate? And here's what I think happened. I think that orbital strike was meant to be a little bit further back, so he could sneak his way into the corner, take a little bit of damage, and then catch them by surprise.
It's a crazy surprise,
you wouldn't think he'd be there, but the orbital strike either wasn't there, he didn't quite make it into the corner,
or it's just a bit early.
Exactly, yeah. It was either timing or it was positioning. Either way, you see it definitely didn't work out.
A lot. I like this, just taking map control underneath that you wouldn't necessarily expect, using the smoke of Bang to get him into a position, but it also sets up Cryo as well to have an even nastier spot. I will say the round they're doing it in might be a bit of an interesting one, because you know that your opponents don't have the best of buys, and we've seen some mistakes happen even in the Vitality game where they ended up throwing their weaponry away. But I guess also the fact he has From the Shadows, it means it's nowhere near as much of a risk. And obviously we know that Cryo a lot of the time can TP out of here. He can't right now.
Yeah, he's got another 30 seconds till he can pop another anchor down, and then it's a concern, right? If they north side crunch you on B, you're trapped underneath with the Operator. That could be a weapon to be retrieved, but luckily, they've made what is often the correct decision. The Op's over there, let's go over here. The A site is where C9 are now focused up on. Weak weapons across the board, you really can't expect much, and the numbers not in their favor anymore as 100 Thieves make the read.
Oh, he's going to throw in a showstopper. It seems like they're putting everything into this round, and an absolute whitewash. 100 Thieves confirm their economy. And well, now this is where we expect the response, Mitch. This is where C9, they're going to have their weaponry, they're going to have a proper buy, and they need to stop this from getting out of control.
Most definitely. Now on this map, you already saw a couple ultis coming into play very early on, and with it being Fracture, with you having those 4 ult orbs around the map to compete for, you are going to expect to see ultimates used in a little bit more of a loose fashion. You don't have to be as conservative with them as you would on other maps, and well, that's why you see, even though they've got pistols, a little bit of pressure was starting to be applied. Better safe than sorry. Pop the showstopper! What a try from Asuna. I mean, if he lands on top of the box, he might get 2.
Yeah, it really seems like they're almost trying to create more of a disjointed attack from C9. Like, put the pressure on early, consistently find those openers, consistently take space away from them, so any of the setups the C9 have are just worthless. And that's the thing, they've taken down Leaf. That's the player you want going into the site first. That's the player you want to initiate your pushes into B.
I really like that idea as well. On a map like Fracture, where your opponents can pincer you from so many different angles, often the attack side is going to be the one that has that control, that gets to decide where the fights are taking place. 100 Thieves are coming in and said, all right, we're going to make you play our game. You're going to adapt to our early aggression, as opposed to them, what we see from a lot of teams, sitting back on site and going, oh, where are they going? What are they doing? What are they doing? 100 Thieves don't care what C9 are doing. They're going to make C9 think about them. And getting in your opponent's head like that, making them adjust their game plan, it can just make you that little bit more uncomfortable and test you in a way you're not expecting.
Already. No command popped. This takes away all the utility with 30 seconds left. They're actually going to have to go in the other direction, move away from this play. Now, the thing is, there is actually still a decent opportunity for them to get into the site. The defense on A is just one man and one man alone. Cryo, if he can even just get a pick here, he's in a good spot for the retake.
Yeah, trap is on drop. It's actually letting them out before slowing, and well, that could cause some problems. You saw just there, we almost lost Ye. That op shot off by a pixel. Ye, well, he might make it away, but for how long? Couple of kills coming through. Vanity and Zelsis. Cryo still trying to find a target to land a shot on with this operator, but they are not peeking just yet. They know what's on the other side, and they're going to make 100 Thieves make that move with the man disadvantage.
Yeah, this is the thing. That aggression back in towards the spawn, finding them 2 kills, gave them a chance, but that one's for free. It's such a late push from Stella that they don't expect it. Cryo's found another. It's left down to just Vanity. The 1 versus 1. He's run out of bullets. He sat on the top of the site. Both players so desperately low, and a single bullet to either side could do it, but I think the time is gone. Vanity has won the round anyway, even though Cryo finds the kill.
Well, Cryo at least makes it out of there with the operator, but that is a round that C9 very much needed. A little bit of oversight, leaving Ye in the open for a split second while he looks to main to check for that push. And with 2 players on the site, he is ultimately going to have to take those 50-50s, has to try to find some control somewhere.
Oh, this.
It didn't work out. So this is the thing, Vanity, look, he gets hit through the wall. He has 48 HP, 2 shots rang out from Cryo, 1 landed. If that other found its mark, or if it was a little higher, who knows? Yeah. But this time C9 come out by a fraction of a second, and we end up at 4-2.
Yeah, they're not going to have the operator for this round, although Ye is just 1 kill away from that tour de force, which would be equally as good. And in fact, you can see around the map, orbs are being challenged for by that defensive side. Try and remove those from play, not allow that weapon to be in the hands of the attackers. The thing is, though, they're looking like they're building in towards this A hit. Again, with just that lurk out from Ye trying to catch anyone else.
I mean, we saw it on Bind that often you're going to compete for those orbs in the early round. It's just much harder to do on this map unless you're going to go push all 4 avenues as a defender. You kind of have to pick your fights. And as you can see, what their hope is here, Cryo can try and find an opening duel, or Asuna on the other side. They're taking 1 lane aggressive, 1 lane passive on each site. It's just a question of whether Cryo can land his mark when they do start to come forward. A few misses, and that jump caught him off guard. The shot through the legs. Now he's under a lot of pressure, but he doesn't leave until he finds that kill.
Yeah, still taking out Zeppa. They use so much utility, even his ult, just to try and clear him, and it's not enough. And just look at the flank. The pushes on the other side just haven't been seen. Ye is gone. They have to try and deal with this, and they just can't. The trades for 100 Thieves are sublime. Even trying to just force them out of these corners. Celsius just stuck in the mud, needing to find a kill, in the nade just perfectly placed to clear him from position. It's all onto Vanity. He's got his orbital strike, but I don't know if he actually wants to try and use it here. Not worth it in a round where his teammates are all dead, and 100 Thieves will get themselves another.
I think he even considered using it if his teammate survived another couple of seconds.
Yeah.
You can see he was lining it up. It could have been a smoke, essentially, to get him out of the sight, up into heaven, maybe do some damage to those players or force them forward. But as soon as his player dies, he goes, okay, 1v3, I'm not winning this. Right? There's no way I'm running the clock down with just that piece of utility, and he'd have to take way too many fights. Better save it for the next round. And in this one, I mean, there's no shortage of disadvantages in the C9 camp. They're definitely going to be happy to have that Phantom on their side.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's not the best, but they still have that tour de force. It's been a very, very slow start for Ye. Kind of expected when it comes to that attacking side. Always going to be more difficult for him to find those openers. Again, though, they've just been pressured consistently with the amount of space, and Arsenal again and again just taking that A main orb. Cryo, though, he's been a nuisance and, well, trying to duck down the angle from afar. They didn't expect him anywhere near that close.
Yeah, that's it looks a little silly when you're not when you're not playing with X-Ray and you don't know that they're holding the angle waiting for you to walk on in. Yeah, he's been forced back here, but with this weapon, he's more than happy to swing into positions. Asuna pays the price in blood, but a rolling thunder in, and Derek is punishing them. He might be seized, but he seized the day with a quick kill. A double, and Cryo tries to replicate. He might not find it, but while the stun is near perfect, the spike is down, and they know exactly where Zelsis is.
Got the spike. Spike will be retrieved. The pop flash almost kills him off, and they're going to start pressuring. Paranoia used as well. There's so much utility on Zelsis' position. Almost manages to come out with a double. The second goes his way, and that's the Rolling Thunder. A chance to isolate this duel. What a clutch from Zelsis. That should have been impossible.
I don't think I expected him to get 2 kills in that spot. He got blinded up, stunned up. They knew where he was. He couldn't plant.
He shouldn't have got
He's
one.
being wall banged. He was down to 67 HP by the time he takes the first of the 3 fights. And still comes ahead. That could be a kill if not for the jump spot. That could be a kill if not for the blind that just landed. That's nasty. And then he gets a Rolling Thunder off of it. That is, again, a round for C9. It's a Hail Mary, but it landed this time. They can't rely on that. Well, they shouldn't be able to rely on that every single time, but they are chipping away at these attacking rounds.
Oh yeah, people have called this team a super team for a reason. There's a few of those going around at the moment, it seems, but...
Oh, this is good. Is there a stun? No.
Oh! All right, Cryo. Definitely not happy about that previous round. This has been an 100 Thieves special throughout this tournament. They lose a blip, they lose something to a huge play, they win the next one right back, no problems at all. So there needs to be a response here from Cloud9.
Yeah, how many times have we seen... Oh, hold on, that off fight. Cryo was able to take that opening duel, but they punish. Beautiful flash from Stellar. They thought that he was up in heaven. He was moments ago, but the reposition caught them off guard. Much like Zelsis tried to, but he's only finding the one, and now they're starting to realize where this play is coming in. There could be a flank underway into the late round. No trap for C9 to cover it. They've got to move quickly. Otherwise, the information will fall completely out of their hands.
Yeah, it's looked a little disjointed in this round so far. 1v1 duels being taken, and a lot of them going the way of 100 Thieves. I think he might have even spotted him crossing over there. I think they know there's a man in this corner. Vanity is going to dodge the utility. He's got his orbital strike. He's just going to try and force them back, give them a chance to get into some better afterplant positions. He's now crossed to main.
That's all it was about, really, just essentially providing a smoke again to get him back out of dodge. This flank, well, they certainly know about it by now, but no Fade utility to play up against. And they've dealt with Zeppa immediately. Vanity, he's got a Molly, but... And what can he really do with this? They're going to force him out of that corner or just go swinging on in. And it won't quite deny enough time. I think they'll be able to get this diffused down. Asuna, a good read on the timing of the Molly to get in just in time. And they will find a 6. The 100 Thieves steaming into the lead here. But look, C9, they let them have 1 or 2, and they come back with some outrageous plays. And the half is still up for contention.
That's the thing, though. It needed to be outrageous plays so far. Like, I think we are clearly seeing that 100 Thieves, as we kind of expected, that core 4 are looking like a better squad overall, but you just have so much individual skill on that C9 roster. And that's the thing. over time, they're going to build up the rest of what they've got. But you've got players right now like Zelsis who can win you crazy clutches, like Vanity who did it earlier in that pistol round. The question is, how much more have they realistically got, or are 100 Thieves racing towards that finish line?
Well, this operator on Ye, again, a big threat to worry about, but a showstopper online could be what gets them onto the site and allows that op to post up. We'll see where they decide to deploy it. We've seen some attempts at having control previously, but look how passive 100 Thieves are. Doesn't serve them well with Ye opening like that. They're trying to avoid all of these ultis, all the utility that could be coming through, and catch them on the cross. Instead, they're on the back foot now.
And they're re-aggressing elsewhere. The thing is, the weaponry on the other players, not the best. Setup going to be there for Arsena. Good counter flash to trying to slow him down. In fact, most of them have been able to retreat. That kill should be for free, though. Zeppa not going to be able to escape, but they might be able to put some pressure back on. Somehow he's still surviving. Just 27 HP, finally. Leaf will put him in the dirt, and this showstopper actually just going to be reclaiming A main.
Yeah, he couldn't quite catch him, and you don't want to risk the 50-50 going through that. All those angles and the doors and so on. For C9, it started out well. They
got 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Yeah, this is the problem, but with Zelsis up there, Cryo down, the site's now theirs. A potential second op to hold that angle on the cross, but it's just going to be spotted. Ye's on his way. Smoke not going to do too much to deter him. A good stun, but Bang's done well to sidestep it, and he knows this player's up in heaven. He's waiting for that swing, isolates the fight. Paranoia's going out, it's landed, but Ye still gets the shot off. A wall bang from Derek, but he can't find the extra kill. C9 in with another round, and it's off the back of Ye's op, wouldn't you know?
C9's rounds are so sweaty. Like, every single one comes down to such close moments. Ye just landing that final shot, also killing one, I believe, while completely blinded by that paranoia. It looked like it connected from Bang, or maybe it was just about to. And while Derek, he's been having a great map so far, almost managed to make that one work for the squad. The thing is, if they can continue to grind out rounds like this, you have to feel like eventually they're going to get themselves some cleaner ones. The problem is, they're not having that at the moment. So financially, almost every single time, Cloud9 end up with a weaker purchase than 100 Thieves, and that's why they've been so good at coming back.
With some of these closer and chaotic rounds, 100 Thieves have now decided to call that timeout again. We said this half is still up for grabs. The 6-6 scoreline is what Cloud9 are aiming for. And with the start that they've had, with losing the pistol round and ending up 3-1 up on the back of that force buy, it would be pretty devastating for 100 Thieves to end up neck and neck at the half. That, again, will feel like an opportunity lost.
Yeah, and we saw it a bit in the last map as well. Like, they could have had a more dominant first half, and it got brought back to a 7-5. I genuinely think that that might be the case here again. The thing is, though, I am very confident in the attack side as well, coming out from the side of 100 Thieves. I think they're fantastic on this map in general, but I also just think right now, at least, Arsenal has been the best raise we've had, probably in the whole tournament.
I do like the adaptations, though, from C9. Even though Asuna managed to find those 2 kills, they were realizing that as we put pressure on B and start to really commit, those pushes come through on A main. Now, this time, a bit of a different play coming out of 100 Thieves. A very aggressive one. This is like the pistol all over again, but pace to 100. Luckily, Leaf is able to make it out. But unfortunately, as they try to take space elsewhere, they run into Cryo, who hasn't been forced to use his anchor. Eventually he is, and he's pushed out, smoked out, up on player roll, but a rolling thunder will delay them and allow a retake of the site before the plan even comes in.
And this is the thing, they don't really have the ultimates to clear anything out. They can't throw in an ult to strike to move them, but 4 HP on Cryo. He'll go down. Now Arsena has made his way back around. Derek's still within the site. And actually, C9 have sort of paused here. The timing's not worked out, though. Just about being able to cling on to life. And in the meantime, Bang starting to wrap around. They're being pincered in. The spike has dropped. And although the jewels are going the way of C9, they need to get back in for that spike. And they have.
They know the Bang's coming from this angle. Maybe a little closer than expected, but a quick shot from Ye seals their fate. At least 5 rounds for Cloud9. This has been a phenomenal comeback into the half from them. They let it slip after that pistol, but they've managed to get a foothold back into things. As I said, as the time has gone on, they're starting to read into those tendencies of the A main pushes from 100 Thieves, of some of those more passive plays on B where they're holding from spawn and allowing Ye to get close, swing with the op, and, well, take a duel that he rarely loses. This has been a very good look for them. And you have to think, if they don't lose that second round to the Stingers, to the 3K from
Yeah,
Bang,
that's true.
this is a very different game we're looking at.
Yeah, for the first time as well, we're seeing 100 Thieves with some weaker finances as a judge for Cryo. Still Orb going the way of Arsenal as well, but ultimately they're having to play much closer angles than maybe they would have liked. Now they have managed to at least avoid the Prowler, but this is all a ruse. This is trying to pull players over in towards the A site as the rest build in to be a good call with the weak economy of their opponents.
Well, the smoke's just gone down. That'll make things a little bit more awkward. Stellar's flashes have been on point. Good nade. That's going to slow them, but not Leaf. He's already gone right through, cleared a lot of space for them. Stellar stunned up, and the nade is perfect, precise. At his feet, dealing damage, taking Cryo down. He thought he was safe, but the little paint shells made it around the corner, and C9, well, they are very much on track for the 6-6. Another kill to come through. Leaf was robbed as Ye hit a shot through the smoke.
Yeah, Bang will spot out a little bit of information, but it almost comes down to him. Derek left with just a pistol. To find anything into this round now would be a miracle.
Here.
As they are locked out of the site, everybody patiently waiting in a crossfire, and it was a very slow start once again for C9. But as you mentioned, they managed to drag this back and level up the half.
Yeah, they've got to be feeling good right now. This is their opponent's map. They got off to a terrible start. It was looking like they're down and out, and they've made the reads. They've made 100 Thieves look uncomfortable. Remember, this is a team that came out swinging on that defensive side. They were saying, hey, you're going to adapt to us. We're not going to let you play your game plan. But Cloud9, well, they found a new game plan, and it worked perfectly to put them back into a position, a better position than they were in the last map. They made that one damn close. Let's see if they can do the same here. But like you said, Tom, we're not expecting 100 Thieves to go to half two and forget how to play the game.
Yeah, I don't think they'll be too worried, maybe a little bit frustrated, especially with the fact that Cryo's having a fantastic game. A lot of the aggression in the early rounds was working for them, but then I think we saw some adaptations from C9 catching them and also just avoiding some of those early fights. Now the game switches altogether. We're going to see how this is played, and as I said, there's a lot of mirrors to both of these teams playing this map with their varied aggression coming through. And you can actually see the sort of, weirdly, the sort of lurk from Arsenal on the other side of the map. Normally you're going to sort of put your duelist in tow, but I guess with just how well Cryo's been playing, they want to give him the opportunity to try and find an opener.
They're selling this fake off a shrouded step from Bang. A smoke went down, he faked the TP, and now he's just bailing back. These players have to be worried about him being on site or anyone else having, or just about to blitz through those smokes and link together what was, or in their mind, a player sneaking in. As time goes on, they're going to start to realize, well, maybe they're not on the B side. Maybe there's not a player to worry about. I mean, even just look at the crosshair of Zeppa on that mini-map. He's constantly flicking back and forth, waiting for a player to come behind him in heaven or in front of him. And all the while, his opponent, or 100 Thieves, are setting up for this A play. They're trying to blitz through, but C9 managed to rotate in time, get a lot of bodies towards this site.
Yeah, they're all going to be rushing through. The flash doesn't actually catch too many, but they found the kills anyway. Arsenal are in a bit of an interesting position. He's managed to get some deep control, but look at the spikes. It's trapped. They have to get moving, and it's already dropped on the floor. Doesn't expect Vanity to be sat within the corner, and that is the second pistol round now going the way of C9. Dare I say it, though, let's see if they can convert.
Well, they've taken the lead for the first time since the previous pistol. So, you know, things are looking good for C9. But we have to hope that they don't fall victim to another one of Bang's triple kills or some ridiculous plays that have been coming out. This is definitely a round they're going to take very cautiously.
But the thing is, there wasn't a plan. So, again, going for a force buy in this sort of position would be a big risk.
Yep,
but they've been very willing to take those risks. So that seems to be the way they're going again. So confident in this Stinger meta, and well, you can see why. A quick swing! Oh, what is that from Ye? A headshot through the wall. Stella didn't even know what hit him. And well, at least the spikes on the other side of the map, but that is only silver lining.
Well, this force buy certainly not off to the best of starts. I mean, that opening duel was looking good. You're forcing Ye into a close-range fight, then up against two SMGs while he's got a Marshall. What could possibly go wrong? But it was Ye. Any other man in that position, and this round's probably over already. But C9 have the advantage. The A site's not lost just yet. The Marshall still lurking around, looking for targets. Zelsis able to secure Sand, and with that, they only have to worry about the site. the only place these players can be, and it's the only place they are. A flank from Zelsis should confirm this. They heard the door open, but realistically, they have enough angles to worry about. He is through and gets two. Well, actually one. Vanity stole it with Frenzy.
Better from them, though. And that's the thing. I will say, they did then, in the last one, lose the next round. So we've got to hold our breath every single time. There's sort of a weaker purchase in for 100 Thieves because they've still been deadly. But it was just this shot from EA. Maybe Shore's foot? I don't think so. I think that was more of a pot shot.
if his reaction time was off of the foot that came around, that is incredible. Now, I think that was very much, that is probably a player around there on his way through. Asuna probably wasn't alone. Oh, I've killed him. Cool. You'll take those for sure.
Definitely a better start to this half. Both teams comfortable on this map, but we did lean it in the direction of 100 Thieves. A few stingers in once again, some pistols alongside them, so although it's a weaker purchase, it's not completely nullified. There is also an operator now into the hands of Ye, so that might change the dynamic just a little bit here.
Oh, absolutely. It's a big weapon. He single-handedly won rounds with it before. Now up against some weaknesses. It's a weird time to pull it out, but normally he gets the reward. So far, though, yet to see a conclusion on these duels. Plenty of bullets swinging either way, but Stellar making his way up and around heaven starts to put a bit of a spanner in the works. The opening kill goes to 100 Thieves after, an extended fight, and they've now got a plant to work with.
That's the thing. I feel like they still have to be a little bit aggressive here. Try and take some space away. Either they have to just sit back in the corners and wait for them to push, hope they don't have the utility to clear them out, and they do have a little bit of it nade through, but the battle's ultimately still going the way of 100 Thieves until Zelsis comes up with 3, making this one look doable. Stella with another, and now Ye. It's all that remains! The Stinger meta working out fantastically for 100 Thieves again. And okay, they didn't win the initial force, they did win the second one.
They thought that they were scot-free. They avoided repeating the previous half, but now the previous map has come back to haunt them. I mean, this is ridiculous. I don't know how 100 Thieves are able to find so much value. And this reposition from Stellar, it was gorgeous. Look at it. You're being swung by an operator. He expects you to be back behind the corner, maybe running back to the box, but instead he's just crouched in the open, holding the angle at head height with the Stinger on range. And they peppered him up, took him down, and put C9 into another uncomfortable spot. That was an op investment, Tom, against an eco. And the reason we say it's a strange investment, it's obviously not great when they get close. And now Cryo has an op for free.
Yeah, the amount of credits that they're going to build up off of the back of this could be absurd. Yay, hero rifle again. Now the thing is, he gets a kill or two here, maybe gets an orb in the next round. He has himself that tour de force, but this is the problem. Not really any ranged battles that can be taken facing off against Cryo. And in the meantime, you've got Stella just leading the charge. He has loved his SMGs throughout this tournament so far. Now, there is a Rolling Thunder. I'd be very surprised if they use it, but it may not matter. Zels is still going strong, and well, never mind.
Yeah, they're actually making this push without Ye. The idea here being he can save if it goes wrong. And, well, they committed the Rolling Thunder hoping it wouldn't, unfortunately.
Yeah, that was the attack.
That very quickly fell apart.
Yeah, they wanted to try and stop them. So they baited out that ultimate from the attackers, at least. 100 Thieves throwing that in to try and just stop them getting up close, and it definitely worked. I'd be curious to see if Zelsis is going to try and get himself a gun here. I don't think he'll want to save his Spectre into the next round. Oh, sorry, Stinger. And well, he's not going to get anything for it. Yeah, he holds onto the gun, so it's not really too much of a loss. He'll have that going into the next round. Doesn't manage to gain up any of the orbs, which is a shame, because it means that tour de force isn't going to be particularly close. And after what was looking like an opportunity here... Wait, is that the operator gone?
They retrieved it. Asuna was beside him. So at least that's something. But I guess he really wanted to make sure there wasn't a ninja coming down. Either way, it won't cost the economy too much. And, well, they've been gifted some of these early rounds, man. I mean, looking at the fact that we talked about it on the desk throughout this entire tournament, pistol win rates, they skyrocket map win rates. If you're able to take both pistols, you very rarely lose. But for Cloud9, they've won the pistols, but still not gotten the reward on the back of those. 100 Thieves able to completely destroy those free rounds that we typically see. And that just makes this game 1,000 times harder if you're Cloud9. Couple that with a little bit overzealous investment perhaps into that operator, giving them something else to work with, bolstering down the 100 Thieves economy. Look, a timeout from C9, and they called a timeout in the same position on the last map. Pressure's definitely on.
Yeah, the thing is, you get one for yourself, but you also give Mike's an opportunity to,
Yeah.
to have a little word with his squad. And we know that, a very experienced person within the scene, been within it pretty much since the very beginning. So I expect a lot to come from this chat. The thing is, it's like for C9, you got yourself those advantages. As you sort of mentioned, I think it's if you get the pistol conversion, you're looking at about an 80%. The problem is, you didn't get the conversions on the C9 side. And I will say, going into Brazil, I'm terrified to see how much the Sting is going to be utilized. If we're already seeing it here, there's still more changes to happen.
I think MCE is playing like the kind of sideline football gig. You know, you put the card in front of your mouth so no one can see what you're saying. He's just stood back in the shadows.
He's actually just blowing.
No lip reading.
He's going.
Oh yes.
Well, Ye does all the talking. You know.
Well, exactly.
Tactical genius.
Exactly. It's such a surprise when we saw that video go out from MC, just to clarify the IGL situation. I was like, okay, go ahead. What's it going to be? Which one is it?
It's a parody, it must be.
Yay, I never would have guessed. Yeah. He's the last person I would have guessed on that front, but no, props to him if he is. Oh, this could be a little bit awkward. He's already through Asuna, good for one. They thought the C's could keep him back, but it didn't halt him even for a second. Right in. Oh, that's a disaster. The Flash, he couldn't see that he was running into the utility, so he just went into the Aftershock.
Yeah, taking so much damage. Vanity, they're going to know he's here because he got suppressed, so it's not really anywhere he could hide. And this execution from 100 Thieves, well, it was just that. Just executed everybody within the site. The only player to really go down was that initial aggression from Arsenal as well. And that's the thing. I feel like he's someone you might look at his stats at the end and go, he was all right. But the amount he does with just these openers to give space to the rest of his team, just playing absolutely sublime, doing the same on the defense as well. And unfortunately for Leaf, there's no opportunity for a rotation here. Hold on to the gun, bring something into the next round, but again, it does just seem a lot of the time, C9 take a pause, 100 Thieves come out on top.
This is the thing. Like you said, there's always a danger with giving 100 Thieves that time to talk, but you really can't consider that if you're on that stage, right? You got to take your time. Fix your game plan, but right here for C9, they still got caught off guard. A good attempt at early aggression, a good attempt to deal with Asuna. You know, if he was a second later, fractions of a second later, popping that blast pack, throwing it down, he would have been caught there. He wouldn't be able to get away. But instead, 100 Thieves put up 9, and they take the lead again. Cloud9, both pistols under their belt, but a disaster of an early half in each case.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Like the amount that is being done with those low buys, giving that bolster, that boost to 100 Thieves. And then when they get into the purchases, they have such good execution, such good setups, trading. Like it is looking like that complete team at the moment. And then, well, new addition at the top of the board is also going to help you out quite a bit. Could say the same for Zelsis, though. He has been having a fantastic game. You kind of look at him going onto the breach and go, maybe he'll be less effective. This is different, though. The thing is, the attack know that this push is coming because of the suppression.
Exactly. They saw so much. 3 players there. And they think, well, you know what? Quick A worked last time, and they didn't have 3 on B as far as we know. Let's do it again. And it's Ye, flashed up, but not taken out just yet. He could have gotten himself out of there, but he wanted a little bit more. Came at a heavier cost than he expected. Zelsis caught off guard. Bang was a little too close to get caught off by that ultimate. And with Lee finding 2, he might have a chance a little bit more with the damage coming in. An orbital strike to push them out of position. And Leaf has to do it all, but the showstopper's online. A close swing, and the rocket lands. 4 kills for this man, and some hope for the Cloud9 fans.
Yeah, he had a bit of a quieter first map, but this little resurgence coming out from him, the rifle that they had, doing so much work. And that's the thing. This round, in terms of investment for C9, was not a good one. But they did throw their ultimates into it. That orbital strike to force them off the site, the showstopper utilized, Rolling Thunder as well. They have thrown every single ult into this round to steal that win away from 100 Thieves. And that's exactly what they did. If they had lost this round, catastrophic. It would have been awful, but thankfully they managed to take it away. Big boost to the economy, brings them back a little bit more level in terms of the map, and now they can try and build from here.
Of all the times to get that round as well for Leaf. I mean, I think coming into this game, coming into this series, he was rated top of the tournament, if I'm not mistaken, on ACS. A slot usually reserved for this man on your screens. Ye certainly hasn't had the same kind of tournament as we've seen in the past, but, you know, it does kind of add up when you think about the situation. It's still very early days, and well, he's IGLing as well, you know, you give him a little bit of a break. Flash coming through, and it looks like 100 Thieves are telegraphing this play, so much so that C9 are going to push Dish.
Derek's also caught Leaf. He was trying to close them in, almost force them forward, and it hasn't worked out. And instead, they're going to try and push on to isolating. Yeah, the thing is, they're throwing utility just to almost check that there are still players in this angle. He's ready for the swing, but he's not ready for the shot. Cryo predicts his opponent. A second opener for 100 Thieves, and as we mentioned, a lot of rounds at times seem like blips on the radar. They are coming back swinging. Another in the grave. Just 2 players left for C9. And okay, they had an economy boost in the last round, but it isn't enough if they lose everyone here.
I really love how they use that smoke as well. You know, they put it down, which for a second gave Zeppa somewhere safe to play from. He'd been caught by a stun. He managed to get around the corner into the smoke that Bang had put down. Little did he know, though, they were going to throw Stellar's nade right in, forced him into the open, and it was as clean as could be. You've got 3 players staring down at an angle you expect a player to come from with no other angles to worry about. Pretty clean from 100 Thieves. And again, something we noticed on the previous map, when they're going for these executes, you can see the time on the server. Because on custom servers, right? They've dry run these strategies a million times, and it really pays off in moments like that, where you're going into the site, you're sectioning off angle by angle, cutting up the site into bite-sized, manageable pieces. And that's a really important thing, a really important element of 100 Thieves game plan.
Well, that's the thing. Like we know one of the reasons that Sean is no longer with this team is because of the work schedule, because of how much time they're putting into the server with their boot camps. They were here early, I think, alongside C9 to really get ready for this tournament, and you are seeing that put into practice here as they put themselves back in the lead once again. Now, the save does mean that we are going to have at least a purchase here, because that was the sort of risk, is you managed to get yourself at least an extra gun in the previous round. Tour de Force gives you some extra credits, so there should be a couple of players here able to buy and a couple of save guns. So that gives C9 something to play with in this round. The problem is, Mitch, if they lose this one, they're in real trouble.
Yeah, and you got to think about it then in the greater picture of this series. We're in the second map of a BO5. 100 Thieves might have 3 chances to close it out. And again, like we said, best of 5. Map should get closer. They certainly shouldn't get more favored to one team. Oh, Leaf. 40 HP, stuck in the corner, blinded up. Blast Pack trying to get out of there, but a Bang has got him easily. Zelsis, well, he's just conceding the control. The steps were hurt as he fell back. And at this point, 100 Thieves don't have to commit. I mean, first couple of seconds, they have a man advantage to work with, and there's some weaknesses there for Cloud9. Add to that, I think the weapon's pretty irretrievable.
It's not the start they were looking for. So ready for their aggression to come through. They'd seen Leaf push that just a round or so ago, so they were ready and waiting. Again, almost just trying to fish information for Yay, but somehow the shot doesn't connect. He's going to be forced all the way back. Zels is within the site, doesn't even know the angle has been lost, and because of that, he goes down to Arsena as well. It's looking scrappy for C9. They need someone to turn it back, and they are losing every single fight. This man pushing them back again and again, and a flawless round from 100 Thieves. This was the risk round from C9. This was the, we've got to throw everything at them. They don't even get a kill.
Put it all on the line, all on the table, and for nothing. Now 100 Thieves on the cusp of victory, and you got to ask for Cloud9, what more can they do from this point? It felt like that was their opportunity to take the victory, and I mean, look, the opening duel, sure, it's not great, but getting nothing from that point, it really doesn't build a lot of faith. Let's take a look at where their economy's at moving into this one, and the investments, they are so much worse. And when it comes down to a buy like this, 100 Thieves have won them consistently. Cloud9 have won them when Ye's got an op. This time, he's down to the pistol, the headhunter, with 8 bullets in it.
Yeah, we've seen them have a hero or two throughout this map. The Zelsis 1v3 that never should have happened. We've seen a round or two from Vanity, Leaf with a 4K in a round where they didn't ever buy. That's mainly the reason alongside the pistols that this game is looking particularly close, because I'll be honest, 100 Thieves have definitely been the better squad overall. Stun at least will slow them for the moment, but to find anything in this round is going to be so difficult. And you can see that 100 Thieves are just grouping up. Okay, maybe you'll catch one of us with a shorty or a headhunter, but all we need to do here is trade. We can actually afford to lose 4 of our players. Look at the credits on their side. It doesn't matter. They just need the round.
And it's going to be very difficult to take that round out of their hands if you're Cloud9. They gambled on the B site with a full stack. They had one player, I think it was Vanity, late playing on A, and even he left the site. They've got to retake in, up against everything. One smoke for Vanity, a stun to come through. It'll force Cryo back, and then they get a nade on him. In theory, he's got a TP out, but he's sticking in position. 39 HP, though. There we go. Eventually leaves.
Yeah, the thing is, there's still another player within the site. Arsenal looking to try and farm up a few frags, and they are struggling to deal with him. 3 headshots? Yeah, he just got one directly through the smoke. I don't think it's going to change the outcome of the round, but it was definitely impressive. Edging ever closer. 100 Thieves now to a 2-0 lead. One of the next 3. And they are in a commanding spot in this best of 5.
You know, it's kind of funny. It's not like the scoreline is much different to the previous map. One round here or there, one clutch not going 100 Thieves' way. And this is, again, pretty much a repeat. But it feels different. The rounds that Cloud9 are winning, they are flashy. They're big plays out of individuals. They're Leaf coming in with 4 fast kills while the team's distracted. But when 100 Thieves win it, it feels like it's their map pick. It really does. They made it look strong on Bind. But Fracture, from the very get-go, coming out swinging. And even though Cloud9 equalized now, they are way, way behind. We're going to have a timeout by the looks of things, a technical pause. What a beautiful time for it.
Yeah, we don't want that.
And look, at 12-9, this is a terrible time to be Cloud9 going into a tech pause. For your information, tech pauses, your coaches ain't going to be talking too much. Not at all, preferably. And so you're going to end up with Cloud9 stewing in it. They have to just sit there and face down the 3 rounds in a row and wait to kick it off.
To be honest, though, it's not great for either side, because if you're 100 Thieves, you're going, okay, over the last, like, 6-7 rounds, we've kind of swamped them. Like, it was just, okay, that 1 round from Leaf, which, again, was just a blip on the radar. Other than that, it's been very, very clean. Bear in mind, there's only been 3 rounds going the way of Cloud9, the pistol, the 2nd round, and that 1 round from Leaf. So everything else has just been going in the direction of 100 Thieves. So this might actually just give that a little bit of extra time to sort of slow the heart rate, calm things down a little bit when you're on that Cloud9 side, because they need something here. Even though, yeah, okay, you got the likes of G2 Goes and Mary saying like, oh, you can reverse sweep. It's like, yeah, you can reverse sweep. It's not everyone else can reverse sweep. There's not everyone has the ability to mentally reset after those games, and especially for a newer team like Cloud9 coming together, like bringing in these superstars, there is a hell of a lot of pressure. Like, they know, okay, we can still have time to go to Brazil, fix things. But they wanted to come here and make a good stance, and while Vanity, he's going to have to watch it from the sidelines. He's not even made it through the first few seconds of the round, and Showstopper not quite going to connect.
Didn't even make it onto the screen for what could be the final round. Vanity, though, is calling out for Zelsis to do some work. Stellar's gone. Some utility disappearing from the belt of 100 Thieves. And how will they respond to this? You know, we've already seen that there was a little bit of a lurk play essentially coming out from Cryo, and he has now unwittingly ended up completely behind this attack. He wanted to catch the defense retaking, I suppose. He wanted to catch them coming A main. Instead, he's taking down Zelsis. That's their supportive utility gone. Their stuns, their flashes no longer there. And without that help, you can see it's falling apart. Cloud9 are left with just Zeppa, and he's dealt with. Bang to close another map, and it's 13-9. 1 more out of 3, and 100 Thieves are taking the trophy home.
Well, it's safe to say that Mary's prediction might still be on, but I will say I'm not believing in it at this point. Cloud9 have got to prove so much to turn this series around, as 100 Thieves are looking like a tight unit. Superstars in every position. Cryo once again topping that board as the new man on the block. But the fact is, there's so much more to this roster, so many strong players, and although we have seen some of those individual plays, we've seen Zelsis look like a superstar, we've seen Ye have his moments, Leaf, that 4K earlier in the game, it just hasn't been consistent enough so far. So that's why I need to see in this next map. And while I know Sliggy earlier premised things by saying that, there comes like medium spice on the tally, well, let's hope they're going to bring the spice, because at the moment, I think they're out of this series.
Well, we said we want to see 5 maps in this one, but Tom, as the series is going on, that likelihood's dropping off. 100 Thieves, they might just steal the show here, and it's really something to behold. The level of play that they're bringing. I think there's going to be a lot to say about this one. Let's toss it over to the analyst desk, see what they've got.
Thank you very much, Mitch and Tom. I'm back on the desk with Sliggy and Kukuka. You know, we've had some Team Liquor representation already. We've had Echoes, we've had Sliggy. Why not bring on another one as someone who's currently on the roster? We have Yumpy here with us, actually. Welcome, Yumpy.
Thank you. The best one so far.
I knew you were going to say that. But how's your tournament so far? Obviously, what have you made of everything? How's life?
I mean, our tournament didn't go that well, but the atmosphere and stuff is super nice so far. So it's nice to play always in front of a crowd. So it's been nice so far.
Yeah, it's nice to have you here with us as well. But let's
Thank
talk
you.
about that map, because it was so close right up to the end. And Kukuka, in the end, 100 Thieves, they managed to close it out.
Yeah, exactly, and that's very tough considering that they couldn't manage to get those pistols, that things were getting a little bit out of control, especially on that first half. I like, the intention. I think that Derek had an amazing, layers of utility, so I'm happy with the performance, but, going into Icebox, things are only getting harder.
And yeah, so I'm gonna, of course, I'm on the air. I'm gonna talk about pistol rounds. C9 won both pistols, and they lost this map. That's a big sign. That is a bit of a worry for me that they are not strong on this map for sure. And 100 Thieves look great. Yeah, again, kind of close scoreline, but I'm telling you, if 100 Thieves actually won a pistol, this is a bit of a wash. So I was very impressed with them. They did what we were talking about in terms of they did the force on the defense side, and it actually was incredibly strong in terms of them managing to get 4-1 up, and then they lost a round, then they won the next round, broke the economy, and then they did it again the 2 rounds after. So C9 just couldn't get the economy, really hard to actually get the ball rolling, and we kind of just saw that actually paying off. Then they managed to get the economy a little bit stabilized. C9 managed to get 3 rounds, but it just wasn't enough in the end.
We are going to talk about that round in a second, because we do have it as a replay, but Yumpy, pistols, I know it's probably not your favorite word to hear, but Sliggy was talking about some of the struggles that you guys had a team when it came to pistols, so would you be able to give me a little bit of insight on that?
I think actually people underrate the importance of pistols, and I think we did also that we not always had the most structured pistol rounds, that it was kind of free for all, that hopefully we hit the headshots, but I think nowadays we have learned that. I think even in this tournament we won 3 pistols out of 20 rounds, so. And I think it shows in the map scores that it's like 5 to 6 free rounds if you win the pistol rounds.
So I was talking earlier in terms of teams are starting to do best of 3 pistols. Is that something that you're starting to do in Liquid?
Yeah, we are asking the teams if they want to do best of 3 angles. I think it's super important, and it's also like a good momentum. If you have a good pistol round, it can really easily set up the tempo of the game. That if you have a good pistol round, like your whole team can get so much confidence out of it, and it can really give you a huge tempo of the game.
Yes, exactly what I was talking about in terms of the double economy, right? Ult economy and just no normal economy, so you can snowball in. You can get the ult into the all-important buy round, and you can, it's just something that is really strong. So again, it's dude. Yeah, this is just crazy. I mean, everyone did pretty well in their afterplans, to be fair. There's some good stats from them. But yeah, it's 13-9, but in my mind, with a double pistol, it's still a strong scoreline.
It goes a little bit different. I think that Leave had an insanely hard time. He was playing on the race. We were talking about how good he was doing, for example, on Bind, but he went 2-11 on first kills, first death. He was getting shut down all the time, and the man on the other side was Cryo. He ended up with an 8-0. So it's not only that he knows what he has to be doing, he's performing every single time. You know a little bit about that.
Yeah, I was going to say, what do you make of Cryo as well, seeing him here on his new team?
Yeah, I mean, he's such a nice player, and yeah, we got a little bit taste of him. He basically owned us in the last map, and yeah, he's such a talented player, and I feel like he's a really smart player also. He doesn't do over stupid mistakes when he plays the chamber, and I can't wait for the next year when he plays some other agents.
No overheating from
Yeah, so I'm also excited to see next year, obviously we're going to have the chamber nerf. I still think that Fracture and Haven, again, I'm not saying it's strong, it's a massive nerf, but I think they're the maps that we might see. Is that something that you've thought about, Yumpy, at all in terms of chamber and next year?
Yeah, I think also thought that Fracture is going to be one of those maps. Okay. Haven also maybe, but I think for me, at least what I thought, that Fracture is one of those maps that he might still be really good and viable.
Okay. I would like to see, is there any chance that we go back to the Sky Operator?
Or the KJ, or the KJ.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, you might see the Killjoy AWP again or Omen AWP, so we never know.
Yeah,
I like the Killjoy AWP. I like that. I like that. Yeah,
yeah.
I actually.
I mean, he made everything work.
I actually stole that pretty much from Steel and Mitch, obviously when they're in their respective teams. I think Mitch was the first person I saw on C9 back in the day using it, and I think it's really strong.
I think we should take a look at that round where 100 Thieves, they lost a pistol and they forced again in round 2. I will say that Yumpy, you know, when it comes to force buys on defense after losing the pistol, we don't really see that very often.
Yeah, it's kind of new thing. I think it was Crew or Leviathan actually who brought it in Champions, the Stinger kind of. And I think people are starting to realize that you can really easily snowball the economy with also. And I think I'm not maybe the biggest fan of it myself, but yeah, I think it can work in the right times.
And I think this is a perfect example of it as well. Also, the Stinger buff coming in, right? So this is why it's just like, you might as well, again, what did I teach you in Liquid, Yumpy? Can you remember?
Playing deathmatch with the guns that are broken.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wait, that's why you were judging all the time?
I literally played deathmatch with Judge, and I'm so sorry for everyone who I played against if it was annoying, but at that time...
I made him do a lot of that, but the main message that I tried to say was just embrace the game. At the moment, let's be honest, the Stinger, I'll call everyone out, it got overbuffed. What are you doing? That's crazy. Why are we buffing it? So to abuse it like this, perfect. I do think it's risky. Like Yumpy said, a little bit risky to do it, but it literally just made them have a perfect start on this half.
I mean, you're going to have to play a Nico against them. Either you force or you don't. The chances of you winning that second round knowing that the Stinger is a little bit overpowered is just too high. And then you're going to force them into the eco, and then your economy is going to start building before that. So, you know, forcing those things didn't work on the previous map, but definitely showed us that it can on this one.
Well, before we jump into the previous map, we're going to throw this down to Ginny, who's given a tour of the truck to see how the esports production really works here.
O2 Victoria Warehouse in Manchester, that's where we are based right now. And I don't know if you can actually tell by my breath, but it's pretty cold, probably freezing temperatures, and I'm not dressed appropriately, but that's okay because we're here to show you guys the magic that happens behind the scenes. Game 1 of the finals, 100 Thieves against C9 is right now on the way, and it wouldn't be possible without the people behind it all. And that is going to be in this truck right here. So let's head up, let's figure out what's happening in the truck, what's going on with production, with the control room. So I just want to say, follow me along. It is pretty cold. I'll try not to trip on the stairs. And let's just have a look. Okay, let's go have a look, starting off with the observing area. So these people are actually working live. We're going to have to try and be quiet. But first of all, we have Harry, or Harrycopter. They're observing the game that's currently going on, the finals between Cloud9 and 100 Thieves. Raven observing as well. We have Jacob. That's going to be on replays here to my right. So we're going to have a chat with him. I know you're very busy, Jacob, but hello.
Nice to see you.
Lovely to see you as well. It's been a while. So can you tell us what you're doing here?
Yeah, so here we're doing replays in this truck. So behind me we've got people doing player cam reactions. Here we're doing the in-game stuff. So I've got different feeds and I'm using this machine that looks very scary to essentially show people who are watching the broadcast on what's going on.
What is like the big round button for?
So this round button, as you can see, if I spin it back, I can go back and I can spin it forward to go forward. So super simple. I'm going to be clipping a few kills here if any of them happen. So let's hope Cloud9 wins and get some kills, and then I'm going to clip them up and then show them at the end of the round.
Thank you so much. You look really busy, so I'm going to let you crack on with that. It was lovely. Well, you've heard it here. We have player cams, we have the observing, we have the replays, but that's not all that's going on, because at the end of the day, there is so much that goes on behind production. There's even more machines, there's even more cables, and a lot of lights, actually, as some of you might not have guessed already. I have no clue what this is here on my right either, but we have a lot of screens as well that are going to be showing the player cams and just general, the feeds, the audio. We're not touching any of these buttons because honestly, I am not qualified to figure out what's going on here, or even if something goes wrong, then that's definitely going to be a problem. But all in all, this looks incredibly complicated, so respect to people who actually have the brain power to operate this. This is now the main part of the truck. This is where we have graphics, we have the vision mixer, the director, and the producer. They're all sitting here, making sure they're looking at about 100 screens. Okay, maybe not 100, but my math isn't that great. There's quite a few of them. They have so many things to keep track of at the same time. Graphics here, you guys want to give us a little look at them? They're so happy to be here. So Vision Mixer. We have Lee here, who is the director, and then we have our producer, Sam. Hello. You don't look too busy this time around.
Hey, these guys have got it covered. They're all good. No, a lot of our work happens when it's in-game. It's with the in-game team. Right now, we're planning our next segment when the game finishes, helping Ings in the game prepare their next graphics, replays, all that sort of stuff. So getting set.
Okay, that sounds like a lot of prep goes into it. So how did you start out? What do you enjoy the most, actually, from being here looking at, I think, about 100 screens at this point?
There's a lot of screens. My mum would tell me off for looking at too many monitors. But my favorite thing about esports, we have like a crew of 60 people on this show, and every single person is here working in complete unison. And it takes every single person doing their best job to bring the product together. So getting to sit back and watch the result, everyone's hard work, it's so cool. So yeah, it feels good when we nail a good show.
I love to hear it. The show's been going smoothly, loving everything we've been seeing on screen, so thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you for your work as well. Thank you.
Thank you. So that's it, guys, from us here in the truck. As you see, once again, looking at all these screens, that's exactly what makes this possible, so make sure to show a little bit of love to production. Thanks for tuning in.
We gotta love Sam, our producer there,
What's
and
a full
also
screen?
yeah, and also Sliggy. That's what you used to do. You were right in there observing before you were coaching.
Yeah, no, I actually missed a little bit. I just started loving it. It was something that I didn't expect to love, and I started loving observing. And everyone in production just doesn't get as much of a shout out as they do in appreciation. So I really like that. I think that's great, and just well done. Just good job to everyone that's in production. I think they're killing it.
Yeah, we'll get you a segment on delayed observing at some
Yes.
point. We will,
Okay,
don't worry. But we got to talk about map 3 that is coming up. It's going to be Icebox, 100 Thieves. They're 2-0 already. I mean, Yumper, you've played a lot of best of 5s in your career so far. When you're 2-0 down here in a best of 5, what would be the advice that you'd be giving to your teammates right now?
I mean, you just have the think it's a new best of 3 again. I just have to completely get out of the mindset that you cannot lose anymore, and I just have to give it all out, because if you lose, you're out. So it doesn't basically matter what's going to happen. If you win, it's good.
We had a thing, never fear to lose. You don't fear to lose. That's like a big
Winners
one.
don't fear to lose.
Yeah, winners don't fear to lose. So it's just like you got the nerves out the way. You've already lost. It can't get much worse than this. So you might as well just put it all on the line and just play. When you're seeing it's like winners don't fear to lose, you're just playing like how you normally would. You're not second thinking a lot of your decisions. You're just going for whatever feels natural and just playing how you used to prac in, like how you're used to doing in prac.
I mean, Kakuga, you're also a big advocate of this reverse sweep. 2-0 has already happened. So what do Cloud9 need to do to actually pull it off?
Icebox. I mean, considering that the last time that both these teams played, that Icebox was on last chance qualifier before they showed up those changes. Actually, I'm very happy that we have Liquid here, because I think that they won both the last chance qualifiers that we had in the EMEA.
Yeah.
So, of course, it's been some time. But when you would think about Icebox, would you not see that many changes coming? You were saying something about, a cheeky composition that Cloud9 might be something. I mean, they need to pull out something new, something different, something that is going to make this Icebox feel like the beginning of something new.
I mean, is that where you win Icebox? It is actually doing something just different, and you guys said cheeky. Is that the win condition here?
I don't know. I think Icebox has got a simple map that it's always played pretty much the same way, so there's not much too cheeky or new stuff you can bring on it, but I think you just have to trust the instinct you have and feel the map. Like if there is some gaps you can find, and find the way that way.
I mean, you pulled out the Omen that time. It was pretty great, and I think a lot of teams ended up just yoinking your stuff as well after.
Yeah, maybe.
Omen, what do we think that's I mean, you already know, so I'm not going to go to you.
Do you know what? In terms of me being at Liquid, we were awful at Icebox. I leave and they turn incredible at Icebox. So don't even come to me with the Icebox stuff. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I mean, Kakuga, you're a big fan of changes. I know you love it when teams are bringing new stuff, having multiple comms, but on the other side, 100 Thieves, is that the gimmicky way that you need to approach it to beat them? Because so far it seems like nothing is working when you're playing against them.
Yeah, so the thing is that for 100 Thieves, this should be easy, because Icebox for them is a map that, not only has word, but also does not have that depth. Also, when you have changed that player, but also is fulfilling the same role as Will was, and Cryo having the performance that he's having today, it shouldn't be hard for him to keep up.
What about you guys? What do you think about that?
So in terms of what I was just thinking about then, sorry, I kind of drifted off a little bit. I was thinking of in terms of just like their win conditions, and how Ye just used to always have like that standout map. For me, it was always Icebox. I remember, again, I look at the scoreboard, Ye was always like 20 on the defense half. He always used to frag. So I want to see that happen today. I feel like, I'm not sure I've seen the old kind of like real hard carry. And it kind of feels like that's what they need at the moment, in terms of it's just fresh for the team. Maybe we don't have like we're not all there in terms of like chemistry and syncing up and just having all the strats. So I think like we need the individuals, and like they have been doing it in this event, but we need it now in the final.
I feel like the thing is, Ye has not played a lot of Icebox officials. Optic, they steered away from it a lot, and when they did play against FPX and Guild, it looked bad, you know. And it's not very often that Optic look bad ever on anything. And I even felt like Ye wasn't having the impact that he usually did on the other maps they did. Maybe that was one of the reasons they steered away from it. But I think the rest of Cloud9, however, they don't really have that excuse of like not liking this map. So, and we can't forget Zelsis too, the other addition here. What can we expect from those players who are already on Cloud9, who have been playing Icebox, maybe a little bit more than Ye?
Yeah, so the thing is, like, we need to know, especially with the swap in roles, how everybody's going to be filling in, because we know that, you know, Leaf has been going into that Sentinel role. Are they going to go for maybe a triple Sentinel? Are they going to, you know, play it simple, play it smart? Because we do not expect Leaf to be on that chamber. That's where Ye would fit in. Maybe they go for, you know, Ye on the Jet, and then him on the chamber. He definitely needs something to regain that trust, because the last map was just not it for him.
Yeah, I think that's completely fair as well. And maybe we're seeing like the struggles in terms of him not like feeling super comfortable. I was thinking in this if they're going to rely on like comfort picks, but actually like a lot of them in terms of that don't have too many comfort picks, like Zelsis and Leaf are having to fill. So that might be an aspect for them. I'm interested to see. Okay, so I know the comps, but I don't know who is playing. I don't know who's playing what. So I'm interested to see who's playing what.
This is going to be a pretty spicy agent select that Sligi has been setting up. So for 100Thieves, we're not expecting them to do anything too crazy, but on the side of Cloud9, we were promised something a little bit spicy, and Zelsis is playing the KO here, Ye on the chamber, so Vanity's getting the Brimmy with a Stimmy. All right, and Arsena is also going to go for Fade here too.
It makes a lot of sense, because this is something that Cooper brought into the garden now that he's in Cloud9. Probably he wants to go for the same. I want, especially Yumpy, to say, because I know that you played against Gambit when they were running this composition.
Yeah, I think it's Brimstone actually frees up the Viper a lot, because you don't have to play as the Viper as the only smoker. So especially in Gambit when Nats was playing it, I think it freed a lot like Nats to be on his comfort zone, and I hope Leaf gets the same way, that Vanity can basically play with his own smokes and basically just cut one side basically with that. They don't have to rely on the Viper smoke or that kind of stuff. So I hope they have a good game plan around it.
For sure, and what you normally see, what you tend to see with the whole Brim and the Viper together, especially on the defense side, if I'm focusing on that, the Brim smokes are always used in terms of like one ways to make sure that your retakes are better. So basically you're kind of stacking more than you would normally in terms of your defense side, and then you're heavily relying on your retakes and using the Brim smokes to kind of block off the vision, insta-stick over towards the spikes. They don't have a Sage, so it's very hard for them to attack. We're going to keep an eye on their attack, see how many times they start going B, because it should be a struggle for them to be able to plant B. They don't have that wall to cover it, so maybe they need to take some additional space over towards Snowman. So yeah, in terms of the Brim comp, we need to look at the defense side, let's see what the retakes are like, and then obviously over towards the attack, see how impactful no Sage is.
And very quickly, Yumpy, can they do this? Can Cloud9 do this with this comp against 100Thieves?
I think they definitely can. I have full trust, yeah.
Okay. Well, I can't wait to see if they are going to get that reverse sweep, or can 100Thieves close it out here and take home a trophy. Over to you, Mitch and Tom, for map 3.
Well, Tom, there's certainly a lot of pressure on this C9 roster now. This has not gone according to plan starting it out, but two close maps still. And that can at least be there, giving us a little bit of hope coming onto Icebox. That comp, though, I don't know what to think of it, Tom. I don't know what to think of it.
I'm intrigued. Like, I think that there have always been other ideas that have been roaming around on this map. I think we've seen a Brimstone before for us, for example, with Chronicle, where I think defensively, as was mentioned, I think one ways can be utilized to sort of hold down angles. You can slow with the Molotovs. There's plenty you can do there. I'm more worried about the attack. I think going for those B executes where you don't have yourself that Sage Wall, that's going to be the tough spot.
Well, let's see how this works out for C9. You know, I'm always a fan of seeing something new on Icebox, even if it's been done before. It's certainly not the standard play. It's not all too often you get to see a little bit of variety here. 100Thieves on the attacking side as we kick off Icebox, and you can see Cloud9, they're not looking to take this in a passive stance. Right away, aggression comes in, and Leaf given the reward, but can he get out? No, not a chance.
Not normally the player you get aggressive with, especially with that Viper screen already down. I guess they've sort of set up around it. Yay just waiting above, watching for anybody to try and get in on the cross, but he's blocked by the screen, looking to try and be a little bit aggressive, but it hasn't worked out for him.
Very close, the duels back and forth till 100Thieves step up. Derek with the double, and Vanity has to do it all. Just a smoke to work with, no extra utility. That Ghost is where all the credits have gone. He was lurking out towards B, catching for any flanks, but now he's got to take on all three of these players, and Asuna quickly puts that one to bed. 1-0 for 100Thieves as the pistol is finally under their belt.
Yeah, they don't have to win the second round this time to get themselves back economically. I'm sure they'd like to, though. But yeah, this is where it's definitely going to get interesting. Is, okay, you've got that defensive side first. I think that's definitely the better of the two. Like, a lot of the Sage utility can be used, okay, to delay and slow. You can do similar things with the Brimstone. I don't think that's too much of a problem. The attack also, you can kind of go for maybe the stim pushes and really get up in the faces, but I think that they need a good defensive half here. I do worry if it goes almost just too badly wrong in that first half. Pistols and early rounds haven't really been going their way, so I want to see a quick response here from C9.
Yeah, I definitely have my doubts when it comes to that attacking side out of C9, but I'm also very certain they have a lot of ideas.
Yeah.
Now we're seeing reveals, 2 of them used up by 100Thieves. They still haven't spotted Yay, but the Prowler does the job eventually, and they've gotten towards the site, but not for free. Vanity standing close by to get on top of the wall, could kill onto Stellar, but they will, I thought they were getting the plan, but it's been broken again. A lot of pressure here from the Pistols.
When Yay comes back around, Shorty didn't work for him, so he goes back to the old faithful. Headhunter able to get one. This is a lot of rifles invested as well for 100Thieves. They wanted to try and keep these through into the next round, but already a couple hitting the deck. In fact, Zelsis now winning another battle. Also, Derek desperately low. This comes down to just bang. He has been so good in these late round scenarios, and Zelsis low, but he's been able to retrieve himself a Vandal. A chance if he can hit this initial bullet, trying to put his opponent into doubt, but bang, ever confident. An incredibly costly round for 100Thieves though, and all those guns will be left behind.
Some really good ideas there on getting close and stopping not just the plant, but chipping away at that attacking side. I mean, they didn't have any players by the time it came down to the retake. Just gorgeous stuff out of C9, and that's definitely a good sign for what's to come. The amount of damage they did there, as you said, Tom, with so many rifles invested into, they've only walked out with 1. So this has been a super costly round for 100Thieves in what should have been very close to, if not completely flawless.
But that's the thing, a composition like this is something that 100Thieves are definitely going to have to adapt to on the fly.
Again,
they've also invested into this round as well. They bought back up, trying to turn the tide. Leaf is almost just playing like some sort of Rainer at this point. Just get up in the face, try and fall back if it fails. They've still got a couple of players. This setup is almost identical to the prior round. Yay up above, waiting for them to push in. And 100Thieves, a little bit more patient this time around.
Yeah, I'm not seeing the follow-up idea to that Leaf play. Unless they leave it completely unchecked, he's only been good for 1 at a time. And the fact that you have 3 players at that point, 2 shooting him directly, 1 from the rope, 1 from the box, and 1 from up in heaven who wall-banged him. That was Derek to find the final kill. Just way too many guns to deal with for 1 man. And well, so far, those early plays, they've only been 1-to-1 trades, and that's certainly not what they're looking for. This 3rd round, 100Thieves, definitely applying a lot of pressure to A, telegraphing it somewhat, and C9 have the numbers.
That's the thing. It's Vanity's pushing to mid that gives them that information. He can still activate the smokes. The thing is, there's a lot of players here. They push off the Hunter's Fury, but Zelsis has come up with a couple, being tagged incredibly low, but he still has that support from Yay. And now Derek, low HP players, a clutch that looks so winnable for him.
125 effective HP. Just a few bullets needed. Zelsis and Yay could go down so quickly, but it's the time, 10 seconds left. And now they know where he is. Getting this planted is next to impossible, but hold on, down to the 1v1. He might be able to bait them out, but the time is gone, and the spike is up top. It's done and dusted with patience from Vanity, and Cloud9 have found their first round.
It got a little bit dicey towards the end. It's unfortunate he didn't have the spike. Otherwise, after those first couple of kills, he easily could have turned this tide back. The thing is as well, you have to bear in mind the amount of damage that was done in the round before by Cloud9. So even a victory here is going to really call into the question the economy of 100Thieves. They might risk it though. That's the thing. This team has loved a force spike throughout this series. You got a rifle on Derek, and you know your opponent's economy isn't in a good spot because they only survived with 1 player. If anything, especially with a fast A play, it might be worth the risk.
Yeah, and as you said, with how they've played so far, you're really not surprised to see that they've gone for another force buy, another big investment. This time, it's not going to be Leaf getting aggressive, unless that was the conditioning earlier. Try to get them to pressure in towards Nest initially, and Ye could punish, but he hasn't been able to. The Prowler was used early on. The drone here, destroyed before it clears it, but as soon as already got Nest secure, and they're making much better progress towards this site than they have before.
Zeus is already getting tagged up a little bit. This time Leaf passive, so he has that utility to hold on to. What a crazy double coming out from Arsena as well. It leaves it problematic for Zelsis, and he may not be dead, but he basically is buried at this point. His teammate's so far away. Getting him brought back seems nigh on impossible. Now the Molotov has forced him out, and Zelsis is technically still garnering that information, but with the Nightfall already giving them the info of the push, another shot for Bang. It leaves Vanity to try and clutch this 1v2.
Oh wow, he's making a good attempt at it. Asuna luckily able to hit those shots. Yeah, I found it interesting there. As we knock down the KO, and he's on the floor, they damaged him just enough that he was barely alive, but they didn't want to take him out altogether. They didn't want to ruin his HP. I guess that's so that if they, I don't know whether it was because the pressure was applied, but it almost looked to me like they wanted to leave him there as bait, and then if they go for the res, you can kill him very quickly. They're not going to get it more than likely, and you can eliminate the player trying to take him back up, but there was no such attempt. Look, this is 100 Thieves with the performance that we've seen in these early stages again and again, and Cloud9 cannot allow that to continue. They're 2 maps down, needing this and the next 2 to go their way. And if that's to happen, well, you want to start it out with a dominant scoreline, with a statement map. Icebox needs to be it, and they're 3-1 down.
And as I said, like, I even feel like if you get maybe 5-6 rounds for 100 Thieves, that might be enough, because I'm really intrigued to see what is there for C9 when it comes to that attacking side. I think especially, like, I think A-side takes will probably be fine. I think although you can have your opponents having some sort of plant denial, I don't think it's a necessity, and if you're more aggressive and take that space, you can easily clear it. If that doesn't work though, B's not going to be easy, so they'll have to have a lot of sort of strats in their back pocket. Now with the staff they have, they do. They definitely do. They wouldn't be running this just for banner, just for fun. It's something planned, but even still, it's risky.
That's the thing. Well, C9 have a 3-man deep coaching squad of some of the best in the business, and then you add to that the fact that they literally have the man who was declared recently as the best esports athlete as their IGL, apparently. So for C9 right now, it's not like they have any shortage of ability. That's certainly not called into question. We just can't see the vision yet. Now, I'm excited to get to see it through their eyes on their attack. For now, though, we're back with 100 Thieves. A timeout from C9 has come to a conclusion, and 100 Thieves are looking at the B site. Now, this is a much more passive play from C9, and short of Vanity providing some of that action that he did previously on top of the wall with the shorty, this could again just come down to how much damage in the post plant, because I doubt they get much on the way in.
Molotov will at least deny them for a second.
For the round that's in it, it's a decently aggressive investment into the molly. Using that up here while still having a classic, you know, it's a bit of a statement, but it's used to get these rotations through and get the Viper's Pit online.
This is interesting. You're going to have to break the wall, but even still, using that piece of utility, when we know how good the afterplants have been, maybe just trying to get some of their opponents to burn something out, but Vanity's going to die instantaneously. And for the remaining 4 players, they've still got so much to find from within this pit. They don't even know that Arsena is right in front of them. There goes the pit. There goes every single member bar Zeppa, and he doesn't last much longer either. 100 Thieves, 4-1 up in the lead. Looking fantastic once again. And while they've only lost a couple of maps in this entire tournament, that's the fact. For them to lose this series, they have to lose more maps now than they've lost throughout the whole tournament so far.
Yeah, look, you put it down to map difference, and they're definitely going through. They've been looking fantastic. This right here, this is so unfortunate for C9. Zeppa went through that smoke first. Obviously, Viper's right behind him, threw a snake bite in, but he hugged the hugged the actual wall of the container, right? And that's not a bad play. Just so happened there was a guy on the other side, towards the glass wall. So he was able to sneak by, take the Viper down, drop the pit, and at that point, I mean, that is 99% of the eggs in that basket. They're all gone. and they weren't able to get anything done from that point. This is 4-1, and the line in the sand is approaching. Cloud9 need to step up on this defense. At least they've managed to avoid any sort of problems from that tube push. They've detected it, they forced him back and put 100 Thieves.
Bang is still there. Bang is still there. He's just waiting patiently. Zelsis hears him teleport away, doesn't expect there to be a second player. Bang again, causing them issues, and then they're actually going to use themselves the Nightfall. It's only one player, and because of that, they're putting all their pressure onto Bang. The rest of the team are getting their afterplant in, or at least they thought they were. That Molotov again is going to deny them for a second and at least allow the cavalry to arrive.
Yeah, well, at least the wall has been mostly destroyed, but now here comes the Viper's Pit. Whole new angles opened up for them to play around. Asuna with the spray. He comes down close just a second later, and he might just have caught that kill. And now he's advancing up and taking some risks.
30 seconds.
That comes with a big cost. They wanted to create space to allow this plant. Instead, they've lost their Viper. And with 24 seconds left, there's so many defenders flooding into this site. The AWP hasn't yet played a role, and it might not. Derek, well, he's dealt with finally. 15 seconds on the clock. Orbital strike called in to buy them that extra time. Down to 10. They've got to get forward and get it done. The spike's on the floor. It's now or never, and he's not even picked it up. Only just now going for the plant. If Vanity can deny it, it could be over. He's rushing in, fake the steps, cryo around the corner. Oh, what? He's shot it! 100 Thieves stumble, but they've caught themselves a fifth round.
The difference is 0.3 of a second. That is all it took. And you have to look at Vanity from start to finish. He took the tag at the early portion of the round when he was putting his Molotov and spamming through the wall. He makes this round even into contention. He gets the kill at the end, still on 13 HP. Orbital strike used to delay them, and then just can't land the shot at the end. Heartbreaking for C9, a round where he played it almost to perfection. Unfortunately, 100 Thieves adapted once again.
Wow, watching this team play, watching these two teams play, such a treat. Some of the individual plays coming through, and for Vanity, I mean, that's going to be haunting. No way he could know it, but you click that button 0.3 of a second later on the orbital strike, it's all over.
Face your fear!
One round on the board for Cloud9. This defense hasn't gone well. Now we see 100 Thieves force them back from A, or so they think. Those players have quickly come back in, an early retake, so to speak. 4 of the Cloud9 team are here. The weaker weapons now, well, they stand together, they multiply. Although Ye's being dealt with, that was the heavy hitter in this round. And now a shock dart combo. What?
What? It's got 2 with the Bucky. That's not something you're gonna see every day. And now again, it's possible. If he gets that orb, he could get the res, but instead just opts to fall back, go for that rotation. Not going to be able to bring back one of his teammates, and for Zelsis, that should be a gun into his hands. A real possibility once again for C9, but the fact is, they've been close, but they've never quite been able to take it over the line. For a res, he'd have to go back in the other direction, so this almost becomes a little bit irrelevant with the plant going through on that B site, and Zelsis now homing in on his position.
There's the fight, he wasn't ready. Zelsis had the perfect read on that, the timing, he waited out on A as long as he needed to. And he got into position just in time to catch them off guard. A gorgeous round. And one much needed. Cloud9 have been struggling. I am just perplexed at how it's come off the back of a Bucky.
Yeah, I think we definitely need a replay of the double kill with the Bucky, like, especially over
He almost got it on the rope as well. That could have been the triple.
I'm finding out a lot about weapons. I need to be using the Stinger more. I'm not so sure about this, though. It's going to be so bunny hopping around the corner. Arsena's got to be infuriated, but the fact is they're still in the lead. They're still in a great spot.
I don't know if it was the awareness or the comms or a combination of both, but the fact that Stellar came off that spike plant was so lucky. If he took 0.1 of a second longer, that Bucky would have gotten the shot off, and he is dealt with. Even still, the round didn't go their way, and now Ye back up and at him. Asuna gonna be popped on the res here. Hunter's Fury actually grabbing a tag, looking for the kill, but it won't find it this time around. And with Zeppa on the double spray down, the res and the resi, both out of this round.
Bang, again though, has taken some space, but they expect it, but it's a whiff! That's not something you see every day. Ye not connecting the shot. Luckily, Bang has been traded onto it. Might not matter too much, it's just Cryo's position. He's got himself very far into this B site while all the commotion was going on. Now, this has to be expected by C9 at this stage. It has been too long, and especially with that plant coming through, they must know someone could be this far forward.
They definitely do, and you can see it in the angle being taken there. Leaf almost had him. And a perfect knife. I think he might have even spotted him, or just a cautious knife thrown through. Reveal sees nothing. There's the shot, though. Now they know where Derek is. They can hone in, and there's 4v1. Not a chance. Cloud9. They're getting back into the swing of things here on the defense. We're seeing that resurgence we were waiting for.
Yeah, I think they definitely needed something to sort of bring them back into the round, and the pace change from 100 Thieves to try and fight into mid was only met with that operator of Yay. Zephyr as well, someone that, again, going into today, been one of the best players in the tournament so far. Definitely cooled off a little bit in this series, but the fact that he's found a double in this round, that might be one of the players you need to see coming back into things. However, as we've seen many times throughout this tournament, every time things even go slightly wrong, I don't mean wrong for 100 Thieves, just slightly wrong, they take a breather, they turn things back around, and they have been so good every time at correcting any minute mistakes.
Yeah, we saw it. I mean, I think every timeout is a 100 Thieves timeout with the way things have been going. This is one they've chosen to pull into play, but they get the benefit time and time again. 5 rounds already on the board, Tom, and that was almost a line in the sand that you drew at the start, saying that they have a pretty good chance if they get there. And now we come back to that question. How many more rounds are they going to put on the board? Cloud9 needs to be next to flawless coming into this the rest of this half. And, well, again, it comes down to what they have planned on that attack. Certainly, I'm holding my breath to see what that's going to be about.
That's the thing. It's like maybe Cloud9 do have ideas of how they're going to run things. As said, I think like the pacier A takes is definitely something that I think could work out for them. I think they have a decent amount of initiation as well on towards the site. The main worry is, again, it's just getting those after plants on B is not going to be easy. You're going to have to take a lot more control than you normally would do when you can just place down a wall. And you even see it when that doesn't work for 100 Thieves. Sometimes they lose the round based off that alone. They almost did with the orbital strike earlier.
Round number 9, and more aggression to come out of Cloud9. This position's been hotly contested in the early round. Even if you don't have the fight fully coming through, so much utility has to be used just to clear it out, and there it is again. But Cryo is the man to come ahead. The operator missing both shots. Yay, starting to feel the pressure as the attackers close in on his positions. Those weaker weapons now pose a huge threat to the operator. He's got a teammate to support him. He needed it, but 100 Thieves are happy to pump the brakes here. They've got the advantage, and they're going to play for this late round, 5v4.
They've won too many rounds like this. It would genuinely be maybe even the thing that leads towards the end of the game if 100 Thieves are able to take another round using these stingers and a Marshall. Like, it just shouldn't be possible. And the aggression of C9 has already been punished. Leaf again down early. Now the orbital strike is going to be used to deny the plant. It gives them a lot of information, and even find out that there's a player still towards the tube. They have got so much ground to be back into position, but I don't think they're going to be able to deny it this time. Estella's just going to stick that plant.
Yeah, there you go. The plant finally coming through. He had the support as the players go back towards yellow. It's Derek, Marshall in hand. And they're worried about mid at this point. They know the player went back down through tube. They don't know that he's actually playing passive, using his utility to help his teammates. They need a lot of help. These weaker weapons not quite stacking up in head-to-head duels most of the time, but Cryo out wide. He's caught him off guard. And we're down to just Yay, the man who had some opportunities earlier on. The 1v2 not looking too easy. That operator, it's a big risk to throw it at a play like this. And he's going to decide to back off. A save called, and another round now guaranteed for 100 Thieves.
Yeah, that's the thing. It looked like a really tough position from them because of the fact that I think C9 actually did very well to force them back from their aggressive positions. They didn't allow them to take further onto the site with the weak weapons, but then they just played off of each other so well. Those passive spots, swinging off of the trades, like that's something that 100 Thieves have been fantastic throughout this entire tournament, and they make it work again. And they make it work on the B site as well. Like, that's where you really feel like there has to be more to deny them. And okay, Vanity again buys his team time. They're just not capitalizing off that time.
This team just looks unbelievable, man. Looking at how they adapt to some of the plays that are being thrown at them, but these low buy rounds, I'm struggling to think of a team that has this level of success this consistently.
Leviathan, maybe?
Leviathan, sure. Even then, I think it's a stretch. And with the caliber of opponents on the other side, I mean, just outrageous what 100 Thieves have been able to get away with. They have 6 rounds on the board with 3 more to play for. This attack side is already shaped up fantastically. And if C9 lose this again, their economy is going to be on the rocks.
Yeah, they managed to keep that operator in. ultimates. Nightfall is the only one online. In fact, there isn't even any for the attackers either, so that might be something that can work for them in the retake. Again, very, very heavy in their A-site defense and leaving Vanity as this solo man to just try and delay as much as possible. Doesn't have his orbital strike anymore, so if he's picked off, I almost question whether they go for the retake because they haven't looked great in those sort of positions.
With 40 seconds left, I thought I started to see a shift to the left side, but even with Ye's aggression, they are keeping this as a solo man hold. We've seen it again and again. The reveal's going out, and Vanity forced back. The Molly is going to be used up another time, but they're adjusting their plant position. A deeper wall this time to combat that play from Cloud9 we've seen so many times. A whiff from Cryo. And Stellar's deleted, although he gets the plant in, so he's able to at least set his teammates up with the time on their side.
That's the thing, he's happy to be the sacrificial lamb. His utility doesn't become that valuable. And again, Cryo, he's so good on these lurks. He's so good at just finding the space behind them. They even spotted him rotating back around, but they don't realize, they have absolutely no idea. A chance to just end the round, and Cryo's there again. They just can't deal with this man. Zelsus tries his best, but 100 Thieves are running away with this.
And for Cryo to have that round now as well, it's just everything fitting perfectly for this 100 Thieves team. Cloud9 crumbling, and I wouldn't be surprised to hear a timeout called right about now. But the thing is, they're coming into an eco, like we said, or at least a very scrappy buy if they decide to go for it. And there's been so little hope in the full buy rounds that it doesn't feel like a force is going to favor them. Although maybe that's what they need, a change of scenery. We'll see what they decide to go for, how heavy the commitment is, and well, it's going to be medium. They're playing for the last round here, Tom, and that means they know coming into this that 8-4 is their objective. They'll take it if they can win this one, but 100 Thieves probably hit 8.
Yeah, you know, Ye having a rifle is something. They finally switched up to have a little bit more B aggression, and they've taken an awful lot of control. I think Bang just spotted him though. So good at just holding off these pushes. Ye needs a trade, and he'll get it. That's the rifle spotted at least, but look at the instant reaction. Ye's on one side, we're looking to try and take the other side, get into an afterplant, set ourselves up. And of course, Cryo, well, we know where he's gonna be.
Well, they've been a bit more hesitant, right, on this push through. We see some control, we see reveal on backside, and then they go over towards kitchen. Now the pressure's on Ye. He's got to worry about every single angle. The one man with the rifle,
they're all going,
essentially stands alone, and that's why. I mean, the panic stations start to set in. The one guy who, you know, maybe will save, or maybe stands a chance in fights is...
Hasn't seen him, but he might still get the kill. Ye just about takes him out. The thing is, though, it doesn't matter. This was all a ruse. That trap destroyer rotated the entire team away. And the thing is, okay, they're going to upgrade some weapons. They're going to give themselves a better chance. It's still not a bad spot for C9 to be in. But again and again, 100 Thieves and their afterplants have been unstoppable.
That weapon in spawn is still sat on the floor, right? So for Cloud9, they've only got the 2 rifles on the way back through, but a man advantage at least. They can manage to trade effectively. That's easier said than done. Asuna playing sneaky inside the smoke. He's going to grab one, even the numbers, the heals coming through, and Derek is as well. The support, Ye up top, he whiffs. And although Zepp is able to find the kill, the time now starts to become a big problem. The wall breaks, the 1v2, the spray from Asuna, he knows they're not defusing, another angle taken, and he might just be able to stop it. They line up, and 100 Thieves find 8. A clutch from Asuna, and another nail in Cloud9's coffin.
It's been so good. This whole tournament, he's been so good. Different roles in every map, but he still plays the same. The clutches coming through, the shakiest aim I've ever seen. I have to say it. Like, it's terrifying just how he's able to correct it so easily, but just sublime and winning every round that's important to them. 8-3 up. You mentioned it, it wasn't the heaviest of investment, but even still, that is a mountain to climb. And that's if they can even get a 4th.
Oh, goes the knife right away. They're seeing pressure in towards B main. C9, despite seeing 2 players there, they continue forward. They get themselves a nice little setup. And again, the solo man covering so much map control by himself is Ye. The trap now destroyed. That's half of his control gone, with Kitchen now under threat. And in all the chaos, this man here has managed to slip under the radar. This is map control that they're effectively conceding, and with the orb up, they know it's a possibility, but the timing, it's sublime. They've been checking it every so often, and they didn't expect him to be here. He somehow walks away with a double, and they've shut down the B main hold. The flank of Cryo finally dealt with, but they have the whole 100 Thieves roster to work with now. Post-plant Viper's Pit in the final round. They are putting everything into this.
They even have a res. I don't think they're going to need it, but they even have that extra piece. And for the remaining two, Ye and Zeppa, they need a quick kill. They need to isolate a Jewel. And Arsena is waiting in this corner. He will go down. That's something at least, but the spam from Bang is perfect once again. A 9-3 half. And the only thing standing in 100 Thieves' way at this point seems to be the 9-3 curse.
Well, I can see Mike's having a little read of the notebook there in the background, but it doesn't look like there's going to be too much to take away from this one other than, well, our plan works. It was pretty good. What a half. And as we say, to our small brains, it looks like C9 needed to do all the heavy lifting in this half. The pressure is most certainly mounting on this team as we move into half number 2. They're going to play a sageless attack. That double controller better pay massive dividends.
That's the thing. I don't think it's impossible to make it work.
Not at all.
It's just whether they can make it work where they get 9+ rounds. And that's a very different story. Where if they had a decent defensive side, came into this one, and then just need like 5-6 rounds, I probably would have said, you know what, possible. Sure. But to get yourselves 9 just to level things up, 10 needed for a victory, that's a big ask. And 100 Thieves have just been running away with this, playing so confidently. Look how deep they are pushing right now. Arsena playing as a duelist, as if he's still on that raise. And Zelsis, well, whatever idea you had, it's gone with him.
And Asuna's just going to go back and get a heal. So even the damage done doesn't stand to you as the round pans out. The 100 Thieves, very reminiscent of what we saw on Fracture to start things out in the pistol, the aggression, the confidence, and making C9 play their game. On the back foot, we're going to see this attack try to sneak their way through, but Stellar's waiting. He does some damage, and he's patient enough to just spot the info for his teammate who's waiting patiently. Bang with one, a dropout from Stellar not expected. That's a big gap in the offense. And 100 Thieves have exploited it perfectly. It feels like this must be it. And Stellar farming up those orbs. It's Derek to finish it off. 10 now for 100 Thieves. And with that pistol under their belt, Tom, it becomes very difficult to see a reality where Cloud9 get back into this series.
Yeah, this is going to have to be the best attack we've ever seen. With a comp that we haven't seen. So it really is. It's going to be a learning curve if they're able to
the Cooper comp, you know,
turn it back. Yeah. Yeah, but Emil's seen a lot of things that happen. So, you know.
That's true, that's true.
And obviously it's something that didn't catch on, so I'll put it
that way.
No,
it's not a standard play. Like we said, you know, some ideas here.
They've taken a leaf out of the 100 Thieves book. They're going for the force buy. I don't think they have much of a choice here.
They've stolen from 100 Thieves. How could they?
Here we go. Quick push in. Trying to pick up the pace alongside it. Arsena, though, up above, is already going to kick things off with the opening. Trying to beat them at their own game, and they aren't going to get themselves into an afterplant. There's still a lot of utility that could just damage them up.
That's the thing, you know, when you take a site this quickly, it's so much harder to hold on to it. You haven't chipped away your opponent's utility, and that means they've got it all to work with, but Ye still with a couple headhunter bullets. He's a big threat. 1 kill under his belt already. Zep is in for more, but oh my, they are just steaming in. Leaf has to do it all. 2 opponents still stand against him, and it's being diffused, or so he thinks. Stellar came off it just to catch that kill. 1 step closer to the res, and the victory. The force buy from Cloud9 leaves them in the dust. They have to take, well, I guess a force buy, because an eco here means 12-3 and 9 straight rounds needed.
It's pick your poison time.
Yeah, there's no easy way out.
There's no good response here. You either purchase now, try and force it back, and basically give yourself an extra round to take a risk, or you eco. You can buy fully in the next round, but you have to win yourself 9 rounds in a row just to compete in this series. 2-0 up, a fantastic position, 11-3 for 100 Thieves, and only 2 mats dropped in the entire tournament. C9 are in a world of hurt right now.
Now this is a tough call to make that force buy, as we said. No easy way out of it, but I like the idea. You know, they believe in their game plan. They're gonna ride it out till the end. This is close. And with the Prowler going out, Cryo is a very good idea. He knows exactly what's going on. He's turning his back to the player, but still gets out of dodge for free. Oh my, another kill. The third player posted on that angle. They stacked it up, and C9 walked right into the trap. Another force buy for this team, and practically nothing found. Ye needs an ace clutch. No better man for the job, that's for sure, but he is put in a box right now.
Yeah, 1 versus 5. And the thing is, we've seen how controlled 100 Thieves have been throughout the entirety of this. He gets a couple, he does some damage, but it's nothing in comparison to what 100 Thieves have done here. 12-3, 9 match series and tournament points for 100 Thieves. C9 need a miracle.
That trophy is calling out to 100 Thieves right now, and all they have to do is push it across the line. It's just unbelievable as well that they stack it up, they play those aggressive positions, they get Cryo up there, and every single player does their job, falls back, and, well, the round just lands in their lap. 9 chances now to finish this tournament out, lose barely any maps along the way. This has just been some of the best Valorant on display that we've had, I would say, all year. 100 Thieves, a pleasure to watch. This could be the last round we get to see.
Well, they came in with one change. They came in as the tournament favorites, which a lot of the time can put that extra pressure on you. It seems like they don't feel it. They came in looking to have that NA crown, at least until February. And right now, just 1 round away from a trophy to their name. And the buy on the other side is not a good one. Spectre's leading the charge. Okay, you've got that tour de force for Ye. That's something to play with. It gives an opportunity for that Starman, who, I'll be honest, he's not been his best today. We have seen so much more from El Diablo, but there is still time. Well, 40 seconds of it to be exact, as it's so patient from 100 Thieves. They want to give nothing away at this point, as now we see the hit coming in onto that B site.
30 seconds do or die time for C9. Leaf on his way through, gets the trap, gets the jump on Stellar as well, but the box protected him. He's up close, popping a slow. Leaf stuck in the mud is going to be dealt with. A great kill and a follow-up from Cryo. The dominoes are starting to fall. 100 Thieves, only a few more kills needed. Zeppa and Vanity, all that stands in their way. Not a kill in this round. It's a clean sweep from 100 Thieves. All 5 members stand as they claim victory here at Red Bull home ground.
One of the most dominant best of 5s I think we've ever seen, and closing it out in style. Their opponents tried to come in with something spicy. They made them look lukewarm at best, absolutely decimating them and showing that they are a force to be reckoned with. They changed 1 player. They were confident in their core after their performance at Champions, and they brought in Cryo just to bolster their forces a little bit. And they haven't even made it to 2023. They already have a trophy under their belt. Give it up for 100 Thieves. They have been fantastic this entire tournament.
Really couldn't think of a better team for it. From the very get-go, we knew we were looking at something special here, but we thought we'd get the 5. El Diablo on the other side, C9 came into this tournament looking fantastic as well.
But that's the thing, they are a super team. We have seen the individual plays there. We have seen Ye put up numbers at times. We have seen Zelsis have some crazy clutch. Leaf as well. They are looking like a solid roster. They just weren't up to the level of 100 Thieves just yet. Luckily for them, they've got a couple of months to work it out before we end up heading to Brazil and they look to try and claim a trophy. That's the thing. It's a huge victory for 100 Thieves. It's huge for them also doing it on a LAN setting, something they haven't got to do too many times. Get those jitters out the way, ready for the future. But to say that was the peak of C9, well, you'd have to be madness, or mad even. But the thing is, we know that 100 Thieves are going to be another team to mess with when it comes to Brazil. A truly brilliant tournament, a relatively clean one at that. A few teams giving them a little bit of a run for their money, but ultimately, they didn't lose a series throughout the entire event. In fact, they only lost 2 maps, and none of them in the grand final. So a well-worthy champion And well, I think there's a lot to come from this roster.
Yeah, this is only the beginning for C9, that's for sure. So much more to come, but the same can be said for 100 Thieves.
Yeah.
A long road ahead of this team, and coming to LAN and taking that trophy. What a way to start it out. A pleasure to see from start to finish. And we had the question of Cryo or Ye, and I thought there's no way El Diablo will avoid lifting that trophy, but
Didn't you say C9 would win? I remember there was a moment on the stage, in fact, where you were like, oh yeah, I think, and I interrupted you and said 100 Thieves. You feeling a little silly?
Yeah, Tom, it's, you know.
Oh, you're being cut off. That's a little bit unlucky. Ginny's there, and she's going to take it off you.
Sorry about that one, Mitch. We did cut you off, but guys, incredible cast. We have 100 Thieves as the winners. I mean, you can hear the crowd. They're incredibly happy for you. So before we even start this interview, do you want to say anything to them?
I just want to say thank you to all the fans who came out, all of you guys supporting the crowd. I appreciate all of you.
This is the first international title that you guys are bringing home for 100 Thieves. What does that mean to you?
Oh, it's great. This is like for us, this is like a really good proving ground for next year on VCT. So this is a great experience for us.
I mean, you guys already proved yourself. You beat C9 last time for NALCQ. Once again, shattered their hopes and dreams. You have?
I wasn't there the first time, so.
I mean, you still contributed this time around. So how does that feel?
No, it's great. When people rate all the teams in VCT, 100 Thieves was definitely not on top for a lot of like Reddit threads or Twitter, whatever. Yeah, just being able to prove everyone wrong is a great feeling.
How has you being in the team, slotting in and everything been for you?
Oh, it's great. I was friends with all these guys before I even joined. I want to make sure that whoever I play with, I enjoy playing with, and that's like a big factor in what I do when I choose a team. So I love all these guys.
Looking at the last 3 maps that we've seen, the attacking sides from you guys seem to be the most dominant one. What feeds into this?
Just everyone on the team having an input and kind of not having it all on one person, but everyone on this team has their own ideas that they want to do, and any one of us can call a mid-round at any time. So just having a whole team of creative people that aren't just following a call from one person, that's really important in this game.
Power of friendship as well, as you mentioned earlier. So what's next? 2023 is coming up. You said, 100 Thieves might not be that highly rated, but you guys definitely proved that you're, forced to be reckoned with.
Yeah, next is probably the process of moving in apartments next year into LA. Probably do that in around January, and just kind of getting ready for Sao Paulo.
Looking forward to that. Before we close it off, final words. People watching at home, people in the crowd.
Once again, thank you all for the support. Me and the team. I love all of you guys. Thank you.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the show. We're going to be heading back to the analyst desk, so guys, take it away.
Thank you very much. I absolutely love Cryo. I know we talk about these off-season super signings, super teams. It was all about Ye. The narrative is always about Ye going to C9, but maybe Cryo leaving Exit and joining 100 Thieves is actually the real super powerhouse pickup.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe it's the early results that we wanted to see, So I'm very happy that he's feeling like he's part of the team already. He already feels part of that creative team that where everybody brings something to the table.
And just being able to slot into the role, the same role of Will that used to play for them, it just meant that they were just so drilled. They looked so in control of this map. I just loved everything from them. Even just going down to the levels of just all of their lurks. They were changing up who was lurking. A lot of the times in these teams, you're like, oh, you watch out for this person, they lurk a lot. They were changing it from Bang, then you had Cryo. Like, that's so hard to keep on top of. They just look top level on every single map. The only map they lost in this whole event is Ascent. What they have to do is just go back and look into that. Yeah, this is scary. What a performance. In my head, I was thinking, who do I want to shout out? And I feel like I have to shout out all of them.
Yeah.
This is the thing. But Bang, for me, been incredible. And I do want to just also shout out Stella. I felt like his performance this event in terms of how he was last year has been insane, and the calling was great. So yeah, really, really well played. What a performance from them.
I mean, especially for Stella, when you're kind of in the conversations of you're not being as considered as good as your Def or your FNS or your Vanity here, there was a lot of pressure on his shoulders, and I think he came out and answered a lot of those doubts and questions as well. And I got to ask you, Yumpy, from that perspective of how just dominant Cloud9 and 100Thieves look right now? Because you might have to play them again in the future in Brazil as well. That's coming up in a couple of months. What do you make of this team? Should people be fearing them right now?
Yeah, I think so. I think, as Cryo said, that maybe they were not the most highly rated in the NA team, but I think this is like really good proving point from them, and everyone should be watching out, especially when they get more experience during the next year. I think towards the end of the next year, we can definitely see like even much more higher level than they played this tournament.
Yeah, we've had a few events in terms of the off-season, and in terms of performance, this has been the most dominant for me at the moment in terms of what I've seen from all these teams. Obviously, we had Na'Vi in some events, everyone that came to this event. 100Thieves, top of the list for me at the moment. They've looked the best out of every team I've seen so far.
Coming in with a statement also, congratulations for Cloud9 for making it this far, for having this run. We understand that the performance that we just saw from 100Thieves was completely calculated. They knew that they wanted to come here to win, to test all those things, so we're very happy for them.
And also, I know you mentioned about the map pool as well. Sliggy, for you as a coach, it's got to be the dream, right? To in the off-season to have this many maps down and be this dominant.
To look, this prep is very scary. But there is the little curveball of the updates. But at the same time, they've been trying a few things. We saw the Sova fade. They're abusing the Stinger. I feel like they're on top of the meta at the moment. And I feel like I'm confident in the coaching stuff that they'll do the same for the update that's coming in.
Yeah, completely. Also in this map, we saw the Sova plus the fade, as you mentioned, and so it's just adapting on the fly, testing absolutely everything. So when those changes come up, I want to know what's next for Cryo on this team.
Yeah, I mean, I snooped around a little bit and asked him about the Sova fade, and they sounded like they want to try that on as many maps as possible because they're not really afraid of, we have this narrative of like, oh, you don't want to show anything before a big tournament. You want to save some strats, but when the meta is going to change so much by the time it gets to February, Yumpy, it feels like it's almost a good thing to be showing stuff now.
Yeah, I think it doesn't really matter, at least for us, if we came with a full team. I think we would have just shown everything. Like the meta is going to be completely changed in 3 months, so basically what you show now is going to be completely different in 3 months. So I think, yeah, like just give it all out here.
I also think they found a good level, right, in terms of like having stuff for next year, trying some stuff out, but also relying on just Chamber being really, really strong. And this was, they just used it the best I've seen in terms of this event. And again, them just having a good understanding of the meta, Stinger, Chamber, they just abused it. They won everything out. And I'm enjoying and I'm excited to see the kind of how the meta goes of the defensive buys if more teams are going to start trying that out in practice in when they lose the pistol the next round.
We got the FPX buy, now we've got the 100Thieves buy as well.
It's going to be very interesting, especially if we see maybe a nerf coming into the Stinger, a little bit of a more balancing, but definitely these things are going to work so far. For 100Thieves also, getting the trophy home. I think that the last time we saw them winning a trophy, besides last year's qualifier, was in 2020, like 2 years ago in first strike in NA. So I think that it means a lot for them.
Yeah, it definitely does. You can see that, especially now with narratives that everyone's saying they're not the best NA team. It's going to be C9A. Some even saying Sentinels. I think that it's going to feel good. It's going to feel pretty.
It must feel incredible because I'm a person who I like to go online. I like to see what the kind of general consensus is.
I like to go online.
Yeah, I live on the internet. It is what it is. But yeah, I kind of realized the general consensus was everyone hyping up C9. They got a lot to live up to, and yeah, people pretty much just slept on 100Thieves, and especially, like we said, Cryo just slotting in. Yeah, it looks great.
And that was one of the key points also. I feel like 100Thieves are more hungry to win this tournament than C9 maybe, because everyone was expecting C9 to be the better team and winning the tournament. So I think 100Thieves was going to the match like they want to prove everyone wrong, and I think that was one of the keys that why they won today, in my opinion.
Yeah, the motivation, right?
Yeah, exactly, the motivation to prove everyone.
Proving people wrong it's satisfying.
You guys know how that feels. Yeah, you know how that feels. But before we close everything out, I do want to show you guys the HyperX play of the day, and this was bang. I think every single HyperX player of the day, Kukuka, could have gone to this guy.
Yeah, exactly. I think that you mentioned it, Sliggy, and I completely agree. For this tournament, especially for this best of 5, Bang, the way that he was playing, being such a young player, both him and Cryo had such stellar moments, haha, pun intended. And I love to see that they're taking it so seriously, and they have this brilliance and still having, the cool head to just play round by round.
I mean, just what a performance by him. I mentioned first kills, I mentioned just everything, just his util, the clutches, the lurks, just everything. There's so many 3Ks this dude had. Yeah, I was impressed with him, and I was impressed with him at the beginning of the year as well. So I'm just super excited for his career. He's very young.
I think we can do like an unofficial tournament MVP, like a desk tournament MVP. I think we've spoken about Bang a lot. My vote would definitely go to him.
It's a hard one for sure. I think like you could literally have an argument for every single player, but if I was forced to, yeah, I'm in for Bang.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to go for Cryo as well, you know, as a debut and yada yada, but we kind of expected this performance from him, and I feel like for Bang being on the team for longer, maybe it goes for him.
I'll go for Cryo just for a little chance. And I think if many people didn't know about him, maybe, and I think this was a really good turning point for him as a player, and people will be talking about him for the whole next year, definitely.
I mean, and it shows, right? The exit run for him wasn't just a fluke. Like, he is genuinely just that good. I'm looking forward to you going up against him as well. You know, the ob duels.
Yeah, he won me last time now, so I need to. now I have the next time, though. Will the pro.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that. But that is everything from us. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Yumpi, for joining. Yeah, for coming on the desk. Thank you, Kakuka, Sliggy, the casters as well, and Echoes for coming on here. Ginny for doing all the interviews. Of course, Adam One, who is standing by on the stage to close everything out.
I certainly am. I certainly am. How are we doing out there? Woo! What a weekend it has been! It is time to get our champions out here to lift their trophy. If you can, and if you'd like to, please do stand from your seats as we welcome the Red Bull Homeground 2022 champions, 100Thieves! Your champions, it's 100Thieves! What an incredible weekend of Valorant action it has been. Your champions, 100Thieves, everyone! Thank you so much for watching. Thanks to the production, the broadcast team, the audience out there, all the partners for watching. Red Bull Homeground 2022. Happy holidays. We'll see you in 2023. Goodbye!
Up whenever I get there. No, I ain't really sincere. Win a raw loser, shut that down and it's not a computer. Didn't get him then, we'll get him in the future. Could have been much sooner, you know why? I'm a song trooper, run back the highlights. I'm a champion, easy win, high fight, getting my way, yeah, that's night. Teamwork, that makes the dream work. That means we only move when the time's right. Check my eyesight, you know I love the action. We'll get paid, listen by a fraction, make transaction. One game needs to see from my absence while I'm the champion. Go hard or go home. Go hard or go home. To win, so every move that you make is a brilliant thing. You can't take no breaks when you're really the king. I'm wrestling in this ring win. You got one chance like Billy the Kid. I work hard. No one giving a free even when them tables turn. No matter what, I'ma make it work. And if I like this change, this verse, I ain't playing no games. I ain't taking names to the verse. It only gets worse. From the background with nowhere to turn. that's all that I want, boy. But not a lot now, it's a lost boy. I stop the clocks now, it's a look, boy. I'm here to make peace, this school, you ain't trying from, then will you come forward? And I don't have my law, I'm here to press play, so from one close. Yeah, it's your turn to the top, but arms down dangerous, I know that you're not, boy. This year I'm taking it personal, and I'm coming for all you got. To make peace, this school, you ain't trying to win, fam, then will you come forward? And I don't abide by law, I'm here to press play, so fam, what's pause? Yeah, it's return to the top, where arms down dangerous, I know that you're not, way. This year I'm taking it